versus Tide Pods. The early game
with Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen.
I appreciate the fact that Preston won the race because he had Logano, so he had the win. And we didn't open the show with, I'm a champion. I am so good. I'm a pro.
You got to work on that.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Listen, it's a long season, Bill. It's a quiet confidence.
Did he take the lead?
He did.
Proud of you, man. I feel like I've brought you into the show.
And no offense, but it also just goes to show you don't have to know NASCAR to pick a winner.
Jen's so angry. Like, you're going to see, she loves you right now, but that's going to change.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Get out of bed and jump around on a Tuesday morning. A step closer to the weekend. Into the early game, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunter, Jen Jensen, as we get you up and get you going on April the 18th. A little bit of baseball tonight. South Carolina will look to kind of get back on the good foot, Preston. You kind of can relate to that in terms of times where maybe you've been really good, but you go through a little bit of a downs and back-to-back games to a top 5 team in Vanderbilt. Not something to go crazy about, declare that it was a nice run, that the season's over, that maybe we should just roll out the freshmen and start playing for next year. That's not what South Carolina needs to do. But, you know, you want to, with another big series on the way, starting just 2 days from now, South Carolina tonight needs to win this one and just kind of get those good feelings back. Just that feeling of winning, right? Like, you've been in that locker room when you're rolling along, maybe you have a little bump or two in the road. You used to, during your heyday, was the heyday of the Florida and Tennessee years, and you would be rolling along, and then you'd kind of run into those boys late in the season.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the Orange Crush. It was a real concept. Football is obviously different than baseball. Baseball is a deal where you kind of are more used to failure. It's baked into the concept of the game, obviously, with hitting and that's all part of it. But you still want to go out there and win, especially your midweek games. You want to take care of these. These are games that you feel like can just add on to when you start talking about seeding later. I know Jamie yesterday was talking about top 8. And a lot of times that often comes down to how many games they've won. And you want to just get these games, not even for just your own momentum, but if they have bigger goals for the season, it's always going to be good to add the midweek games to that victory pile.
So we've got that tonight. South Carolina in the D1 baseball top 25 doesn't move. They stay 6. Matter of fact, the top 6 did not change at all. LSU at 1, Wake Forest at 2, Florida 3. So number 3 team in the country rolls in after you just played the number 4 team in the country, after you just played the number 1 team in the country. Mm-hmm. That was your 3-week stretch. But LSU, Wake Forest, Florida, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and South Carolina, the top 6 did not change. And by the way, the gauntlet not over for South Carolina just because Florida wraps up. After Florida, you do get that, what I reckon we're calling it is, I mean, it's the SEC, so I don't know where the breather is. But after Florida, you get, I guess, again, the little bit of a breather in 2 weeks against Auburn. That's only to be followed up by Kentucky and then Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the baseball in this conference, I know we talk about it, is absolutely unreal. When they say it means more, South Carolina is part of a baseball conference. Kentucky, by the way, just for those of you wondering, the brand new poll is 13th. So you get the Auburn series, which again is considered your breather. Whew. Take a break, and that's followed by right now a series against number 13 Kentucky and number 6 Arkansas.
Yep. That's what it's supposed to be. And also remember, Bill, they got to play us too. So
that's exactly right.
That's where you are in this. That's where you are in the standard. This is what you wanted. So let's go, man.
So tonight, Founders Park, 7:00 first pitch, 6:45 pregame. You can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game. Coming up in about an hour, we'll catch up with JC Shurburtt. We'll get more into some of this, just kind of I'll say the fallout, but
I like that word. I like it.
Wrapping everything up this week as we will now head into the doldrums of summer, the quiet time, maybe the recruiting period of summer, but kind of putting the bow on spring, Preston, and what we saw and what we think and what we took away from everything. We didn't get into it enough. I'm kind of interested to hear two opinions of yours. One, being a defensive lineman, how much you studied running backs in the film room and what they did during your playing days, and two, how you translate that to what you saw from Dakereon Joyner on Saturday night. Joyner had a comfortable little scrimmage there carrying the football, 6 carries, 24 yards. He had a long of 9. Again, hard to tell much from that, but I think it's the running style that I'm interested in you kind of breaking down a little bit. Running styles that you've seen from Derek Watson to Andrew Pennick to even Ryan Brewer, on to Corey Boyd, Demetrius Summers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll get into that a little bit this morning and how you kind of relate that back to Dakereon Joyner, because you saw some really good running back. You had to line up and look into the backfield and go, okay, who's back there? How do I want to tackle that guy if he comes through the hole? Is it more of a tackling from the side, or do I eye him up and go straight into the chest? Because I just having seen Andrew Pennick a time or two at the Strawn Thurman building, the athletic facility over there, I don't know if that's a guy that you eyed up and went, yeah, my shoulder, his chest, or having a meeting of the minds.
Oh, Bill, yes, I'm ready for this conversation, sir.
We'll get into that a little bit this morning. Last night, it was a great sports night. I was going to say, depends on how you take it. All right, this is our first true test of what the next 6 weeks could be like here. Big playoff night last night. A lot of fun. I was in on the Hurricanes and the Islanders in the NHL. Fun matchup. NHL, you'll learn this over the next few weeks. I will bang the drum for the NHL playoffs. I think it's the best playoffs out of all of them.
Okay, so you get into it.
I get into it. If you have to have a series, so NFL is a different bird because it's win in advance, lose, go home. Whereas last night, Carolina, the Hurricanes win 2-1 over the Islanders. They got to win 3 more. Boston, who's really good, beats Florida 3-1. The late games, Minnesota and LA win those. So you got more to go. But the NHL playoffs, the intensity, just the way it comes across through the television, much better. And I'm an NBA fan, but if you said tonight, hey, you can either watch the NHL or NBA, I'm taking the NHL every time.
Okay, yeah. I love playoff sports, right? I love it when there's some stakes on the line, and you just see that little bit of extra effort. Guys fight through for basketball. Guys are fighting through screens instead of just lagging off. You have people taking charges. You have all of those little extra things that realistically you can't do over an 82-game season.
You don't care to do.
That's probably a better way to phrase it. Like, this is game 63 in Milwaukee on a Tuesday night. I don't know if I'm fighting through that. But during the playoffs, yes, that's when you see it happen, and you sort of see the actualization of how good these players really are.
Did you get into much last night? Did you take into?
I did see a little bit. That West Coast game it's a little rough.
We'll get into that a little bit.
We're going to have to figure that out, though.
Charles Barkley went on a little bit of a rant about that.
Did he?
I think on Sunday about the times.
Yeah,
and we'll do
the West Coast game is rough.
He made a point. He said they've got to start respecting the fans. Now, apparently, Barkley thinks that all the fans get up and go to school the next morning. I think he meant school and work, but we'll talk a little bit about that this morning. Again, we'll get into some more from the spring game, talk a little bit about the baseball tonight. J.C. Shurburtt set to join us. We'll get into a little bit of recruiting with him. So a lot to do this morning. If you want to be a part of the program, 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in this morning. If you want to join us, Firehouse Subs text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Get 15% off when you buy a set of Brake Best Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors through April 25th at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you hear it's Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot and Ryobi 40-volt expanded cordless string trimmers are just $179, what are you driven to do? Clear out winter's overgrowth? Clean up the driveway lines? Or take a lighter touch around the flower beds? Hurry into the Home Depot during Spring Black Friday to get more done with the extended runtime and precision control of the Ryobi 40-volt expanded cordless string trimmer. Now just $179. Shop Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB, 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Sponsored by Summit Racing. Summit Racing has parts and accessories to keep your truck rolling right. Parts like lift kits, intakes, exhaust, tires, lighting, and more. From custom grills to tonneau covers, Summit Racing has you covered. SummitRacing.com. Everything you need for anything you drive.
There's no better place to catch a game on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Visit thegamecockclub.com today to secure your tickets. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
You can pick out every detail of your remodel.
That one. Or that one.
That one. No, wait, that one. But you never really know what it will look like until...
Well...
not what I imagined. CHW Cabinetry understands. Not being able to visualize what your new space will look like can be stressful, but our photorealistic renderings leave nothing to the imagination, and our job site book makes sure everyone's on the same page. Literally, learn more at chwcabinetry.com. CHW Cabinetry. Passion from inspiration to installation.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Shop Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot to get your kitchen clicking. With top brand appliances from Frigidaire, like a new refrigerator with sealed crisper drawers to keep your produce fresher longer. Or a dishwasher with its unique blade spray arm for better water coverage that reaches every corner. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away too. Save up to $500 on select Frigidaire kitchen appliances during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot.
Like any good agent, we're here for the open house, for the closing, for handing over keys. But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more. Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
So far, things seem to be moving along fairly well this morning out on the highways. And your forecast for today, pretty good as well. Sunny and warm, 81 for the high, 87 tomorrow, 88 on Thursday. But a little breezy and a little bit cool this morning, 45 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
$6:15 on a Tuesday morning as we get you up and get you going, if possible, because Richard weighs in this morning. He not a fan. All right, he loves the NBA. Richard weighs in every morning. He says he stayed up until 1:38 a.m. 1:38 a.m. watching the Warriors and Kings on the NBA. Or on TNT. He says, paying for it this morning. Can't believe I actually saw a game where they played defense until Draymond got kicked out. Reminded me of an old NBA game I loved so much. That is the difference. They get this time of the year, it becomes a little bit more serious. Like you said, it's kind of, I would imagine it's similar to practices about mid to late season under Lou Holtz where you've just been beaten up, you're just worn out. Holtz is telling you, I don't know, what would he tell you? What would he tell you early in the week? How good y'all were, or how bad you were?
Early in the week is how bad we were.
Okay.
And then we get better throughout the week.
So Tuesday, Wednesday practice, you're still in that, you're still beaten up from the game before, you're still beaten up from preseason with Holtz. And now you got to go full bore on a Wednesday, and you look in the backfield. Who do you want to see back there? Derek Watson, Andrew Pinnock. Which one are you choosing that's coming through the hole and you got to bring down?
Surprise answer. Andrew Pinnock.
Really?
You want to see Andrew Pinnock?
Because he's not a very he was a pretty straight line target.
He's gonna come straight for you. And despite how big Andrew was, Andrew fancied himself as a tailback.
Oh.
He was what's that, like the mouse in the elephant's body or something like something along those lines. That was more Andrew as opposed to, first off, we know Ryan Brewer's not gonna quit.
Right.
So he's going to keep running. You're going to stop him, and then he's just going to keep running. He's going to break tackles, and he's going to be like, it's like, Ryan, man, this is just
practice.
It's just practice.
It's on a Wednesday.
Please relax. Derek had some of that in him, too. But the problem with Derek was Derek will make you miss. So you don't know whether he's going to run you over or whether he's going to do some spin move and just have you fall on your face. So then you got to mix it up. The second person you don't want to see, though, is Corey Boyd, because he has no chill. There's no time for relaxing, and he will attempt to run you over, even if he has to take himself out in the process. It's like kamikaze style.
Yeah.
It does not matter. So Corey Boyd is number one on the list of people you do not want to see.
In terms of things you just remember in your entire playing day, from Pee Wee to Somerville to South Carolina, the hit that Corey Boyd had against the Virginia defender that was very unfortunate for that Virginia defender. What do you remember that day? Because that was late in the game. I think that was, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that was Corey's freshman season. That was our first real chance to see him.
That might have been a bursting on the scene moment.
I would say that was a bursting on the scene moment. What do you remember about being on the sideline? Were you kind of paying attention? Were you because South Carolina was up big in that game? I remember it was a payback game from going up to Charlottesville the year prior.
Yep.
What do you remember about that game?
Sometimes you hear things on the sideline that sound louder than the others, where you're not. I don't even think you're necessarily paying attention, and then it's like, ooh, when you hear the crowd. The best sound you can hear is ooh, and the crowd goes like that, and then it kind of goes quiet because unfortunately the fellow was laid out. But we on the sidelines, we saw that thing coming. We knew that he was looking to do that on every possible occasion. So that was something where it is a true burst on the scene moment, because that's where the fans was like, oh, I think we got something here.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unknown recruit. He's from New Jersey. Nobody really knows about this guy. And we were all like, we've been seeing this all camp. And Corey had no problem giving it to his teammates or anybody else that was involved. So that's the person you do not want to see.
How does those three guys in particular relate back to what you saw a little bit from DeCarrion Joyner on Saturday night?
Yeah, I want to see DeCarrion was definitely running harder, and I don't mean effort-wise. I want to be very clear. I don't mean effort. Obviously, he played with effort, but he ran a little bit tougher, I may say, than I think. And sometimes those words get confused with how much they're trying. And it's not about trying, but I saw him lower his shoulders a couple times. I saw him try and fight for a couple of extra yards that we just haven't seen him have the ability to do at those other positions. And so that was a part of the game that I did not expect to see out of him. So I was pleasantly surprised by that.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what South Carolina does here in the transfer portal. And we'll catch up with J.C. Shurburtt here in about 40 minutes, because that to me was the position. We'll see what exactly transpires with Terrell Dawkins, with Brian Thomas Jr., with some of these. Jordan Strawn didn't play the other night, and this guy that's going to come back. South Carolina needs more bodies at the edge position, but at the same time, they have some guys. Elijah Davis played edge the other night. Tonka Hemingway's a guy that could slide out. Maybe not the prototypical body size pass rushers. I'm a big fan of what the Steve Spurrier pass rushers were, which was the Devin Taylors, the 6'5", 6'6", lanky guys that would come off the edge, whereas it seemed like Will Muschamp always liked more of the Aaron Sterlings or the guys who were more 6'2", 6'3", in the 230, 240 range.
Yeah, I think that's where that the buck position sort of played out. Whereas to me, my favorite guy from the Muschamp era was DJ Wanham.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he was more of that mold of that longer sort of guy that can come around and make plays and just sort of cause havoc by getting his hands up, stretching, making quarterbacks feel uncomfortable by it. You just know this guy is around. Whereas the 6'2", 6'3" guy, they have to actually get there in order for them to make an impact. And that their reach on those longer guys is something that's interesting. And right now, I think maybe Jordan Strawn falls into that category. I think he's around 6'3"-ish, but he has a longer body. And so I'm interested to see what the rest of those guys look like when we actually see them start to line up.
803-404-6100. Our buddy John from Somerville weighs in this morning, but he sends a Tiger Paw.
Go Green Wave.
The way I take the Tiger Paw is there's the four, what do we call those? The toes, I guess, on the paw. Mm-hmm. One would be for
pads, I believe.
One would be for the men's basketball victory.
Ooh.
One little toe for the women's basketball victory. 2 toes for the 2 baseball victories, and of course the what do you want to call the pad there in the middle would be the football victory. So I like how he just reminds himself every morning with the 5 little dots that make a tiger paw of the 5 victories this past academic year that South Carolina had, with again the 4 little toes there for the 2 basketball victories, 2 baseball victories, and the big pad for the 31-30. We do appreciate John weighing in each and every morning. 803-404-6100. Going back to that, then you also got to see Mario Anderson Jr. run a little bit on Saturday night. Anderson, 5 carries, 14 yards. I'm interested, Preston, to see, because it's hard for me to fathom what we hear. Just a person who's never played it, what I hear about just in the trenches SEC football and the skill level that you have to play. Like, people look at, I don't know, who was one of the larger gentlemen that you had that
Jabari Levy.
Okay, and I don't know how athletic Jabari really is, but I know that to play even ACC or SEC, there has to be a level of athleticism amongst those players that maybe we look at and be like, oh, that guy can't do anything. Like, yeah, he's just big. That's totally not true. And that's why I say jumping from Newberry to the SEC, I don't know if you can translate that for people and that jump that Mario Anderson's got.
That's where the difference is, and everybody talks about it. The difference in skill players on the various levels where you're talking about FBS, FCS, even D2, it's smaller than you would think. A lot of guys that are playing at those different levels, for instance, Juice Wells, there are a lot of Juice Wells floating around the country that are not playing FCS ball. They're playing at lower levels. They even playing D2 because those guys, they're more of them. There's a lot of people that are fast. There are a lot of people that can run. There are a lot of people that can catch. The difference between linemen is that going on those same sort of tenets. Yes, you have big people. Yes, you have fast people. You very rarely have big, fast people. And there's a lot of big people that play on these lower levels, but they're not fast. And that's just that, or they could be quick, but they're not big. And so that combination of being able to move, when you see some of the athleticism from these guys that are in the trenches, that might Mario will be in for a surprise, because there'll be a couple of moves that he think he'll be able to make that just won't. Holes will close up a little bit quicker than he anticipates.
I was going to ask, how long does it take you to adjust to the speed where, like, at that level, like at Somerville, maybe you were able to knife through the middle on somebody and you go, oh, that'll work that'll work in college. And then the first time you do it, next thing you know, you're laying on your back looking up at the offensive lineman who just pancakes you. How long did it take you to figure out the speed? How long is that adjustment period for players?
For me personally, the adjustment was on the strength, because I could just sort of knock anybody out of the way in high school. And then when you try and knock Travell Wharton out of the way and he doesn't move, you're like, oh, why isn't this thing working?
You have to stand straight up and go, sir, slide to your left a little bit.
I'm trying to get there. Sir, this worked last month. It's not working anymore. So for me, it was the power dynamic in there. But for running backs, a lot of times they'll have to figure that out very quickly. And I will say that Mario looked the part. I don't know what that means. But when I saw him sort of the way he took the ball, the way he was sort of attacking the hole, it looked natural. It looked like he was a guy that was going to be capable of doing it, and he looked like he was actually a running back. Whereas DeCarrion doesn't quite look like a running back yet. It looks like there's going to take some more talent, more repetitions. But Mario looked like he was the guy. Now, does he have the skill to be able to put it all together and actually perform at this level? I think that's a wait and see. But he looked like he was the part.
803-404-6100. We'll talk a little college football big picture because I just love these. I love these headlines that come out. There was a big recruiting flip last night. Doesn't involve South Carolina.
Are we still doing recruiting? When does it stop?
It never does. Recruiting never stops. 365 days a year. Matter of fact, there was 2 actually big recruiting things last night.
I thought we just finished the spring game, Bill. There's no time?
No. There was last night. I'll tell you both of the recruiting things, but I love the headline, and I'll get your take on the headline here. But last night, 5-star tight end Landon Thomas flipped from Georgia to Florida State. Okay. 5-star tight end flips from Georgia to Florida State, but it leads to the title. Is this another successful sign of Florida State's climb back to the top?
Are they back?
Are they back? We'll play a round of Are They Back? Way too early's Are They Back? The other one last night, Marcus Satterfield. Well, Nebraska fans are already not happy with him.
Oh, buddy. Bill, why did you bury the lead?
I will tell you about why he is already in the crosshairs of Nebraska fans after last night. We'll give you that information. And the reason they're not happy hasn't even come to true fruition yet. It may happen today or tomorrow. I'll tell you why Marcus Satterfield's already
he's on the hot seat.
Already on the hot seat in Lincoln when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
I'll tell you what, it's that time of year. I had no clue last night whether to cut the air on or the heat on in the house. I cut the heat on and just cut it way down. But that means your heating and air unit is getting an absolute workout, and you don't want that thing to go out on you right now with the famously hot Columbia summer just around the corner. Call AAA Heating and Air today if you've got any issues, because you know what? With AAA Heating and Air right now, you could get up to $5,300 off the cost of a new unit tomorrow by making the phone call today. Call AAA Heating and Air at 803-677-1500 for a free estimate to see what the AAA Heating and Air team can do for you. There's the current Inflation Reduction Act, which offers tax credits of up to $3,800. You could take advantage of a $3,800 saving by making the phone call today. On top of that $3,800, AAA Heating and Air offers you a $1,500 buyback of your old unit. That's up to $5,300 in savings. Call AAA Heating and Air today to learn more about how you can get a new heating and air unit installed at your house and save loads of money. Not only that, but AAA Heating and Air offers a 15-year parts and labor warranty and has great financing options as well. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Steven Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worry. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit CantyCanFixIt.com. Canty can fix it.
Let's text and title with approved credit call 866-243-4623 for details. JT means Jeeps and trucks. The biggest Jeep and truck selection in South Carolina is at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Get your new 2023 Jeep Wrangler now. Save $5,000 off. Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, Compass, Wagoneer. New Jeeps up to $7,500 off. New Rams up to $11,000 off. Shaky credit, don't sweat it. JT says you're approved. JT means Jeeps and trucks. 378 Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Jeep Celebration event.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
I'm Chris Sylvester with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. It's been a busy off-season week in the desert. Cardinals safety Budda Baker isn't the only player whose future is unclear. On Sunday, wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins took to Twitter to say any issues he may have are not related to his contract. The three-time All-Pro receiver tweeted, "Hopkins doesn't want a raise." According to Over the Cap, Hopkins is set to make $19.45 million in 2023 and almost $15 million in 2024. Hopkins has been part of trade speculation since the offseason began. Make sure to tune in to NFL Now on NFL Network Tuesday. One of the top tight ends in the draft, Oregon State's Luke Musgrave, will be live on the show. The 2023 NFL Draft presented by Bud Light is almost here, and greatness is on the clock. Watch live April 27th to the 29th with NFL Network Draft coverage presented by Verizon. Additional coverage on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes, then streaming on NFL Plus. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
.635 on a Tuesday morning. Want to remind you about our craft beer passport. 38 craft beers for $99. It's a $285 value for just $99. You can go to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals for more information. It's the 1075 The Game craft beer passport. You can get 19 different locations, 2 beers at each location. It's an incredible savings, a $285 value for just $99. To learn more, to check it out, go to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals for more information. So I teased it. I want to get into also the article on Florida State, because now they flipped a 5-star recruit from Georgia, and now everybody goes, hey, oh boy, here come the Seminoles again. But the other thing that has kind of occurred over the weekend is Dominic Raiola, I believe is how you say his last name. Or excuse me, this is Dylan. Dominic is his uncle. that played for Nebraska back in the
Okay.
days. I'm sorry, I'm looking right at his name, and I still said the uncle's name, and I just spent most of the. This is the number one quarterback recruit in this class, in the 2023 class. He's the number one national recruit. Was initially committed to Ohio State and elected to decommit. Again, he is the nephew of former Nebraska standout Dominic Raiola, I believe is again how you say it. And anyway, the point here is, well, most people, especially out in Lincoln, thought, oh, he's going to come be the heir apparent. We got Matt Rule. Matt Rule's a really good recruiter. Matt Rule's a guy who can step in and give some cachet to the job. It's just a matter of time. Again, Raiola, the uncle, played center out there for Nebraska, was an All-American.
He was great.
Was it? Yeah. Did you ever run across him in any way, shape, or form anywhere?
He was around the same time that I played, but he was dominant. He was 100%. Maybe just short of Hall of Famer, but he was great.
He was the first. This again was the first freshman offensive lineman to start a game for the Cornhuskers in like 10 years. I mean, this is a guy who is well known in Lincoln, and again, here is his nephew, and most people just assumed, okay, he's going to come. Well, over the weekend, it appears Dylan Raiola is now set to commit to Georgia.
Oh.
And Nebraska fans are trying to figure out what went wrong, what has gone wrong here. How did this, it's not that, Georgia's back-to-back national champions, or that, right now their quarterback situation is kind of up in the air because there's, Brock Vandergriff right now is kind of fighting Gunnar Stockton and Carson Beck. And, there's a lot going on. It's not that maybe this young man could come in and instantly compete. No, it's probably because we hired the wrong offensive coordinator. And so without calling a play, Marcus Satterfield has already become enemy number one of Nebraska fans.
Oh, I got news
because
for
he's
them.
cost them again. Overall, I'm looking. I want to confirm this, but I believe this is the number one player in the country according to 24/7 Sports. Again, Dylan Stewart is the number one player according to Own 3, and then they all have their composite rankings and whatnot. But yeah, not good news.
Well, I have news for you, Cornhusker fans. It may not get better. If it's not great,
if you're listening into the South Carolina station,
if you're looking for some tips, if you're looking for some insight into that, I think I just had an idea for a pod, right? It's going to be a podcast where the previous fan base sends well wishes to the receiving fan base. Mm-hmm. We just package it up, and you just say, hey, look, this was our experience with him. Good luck. Let us know how it goes.
There's been multiple crystal balls that have been put in on 24/7 Sports for Raiola to Georgia now. Nebraska fans,
Bill, any rational fan base would say, okay, he's going to Georgia. Georgia's the number one team.
Plus there's NIL, as Craig points out. I was reading last night. There's a lot of people that are suggesting Georgia came up with a nice NIL package for this young man, and there's a lot of people, let's just say outside the state of Nebraska, who are being like, yeah, this makes sense. There's a lot of people associated with Big Red and Husker country who are like, whoa. This Satterfield guy couldn't lock down basically a surefire commitment.
Well, Bill, they still think it's 95.
Right.
They fell asleep after the end of the 95 championship. They woke up in 2023 and they're like, hold on a second. Why isn't this working anymore? And they can't figure out why they can't win. They can't, because it was supposed to be Scott Frost. It was supposed to be Bill Callahan. They got rid of the coach. Previous to them, who did we beat in the Outback?
Bo Pelini.
They got rid of Bo Pelini, who was winning 9 games a year. They were like, not good enough for the Big Red. And I think I might take some delight in watching Nebraska fail.
I wonder, going back, I had a
they stole our nutritionist.
They did, yes. I forgot about Kristen Coggins left. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Wonder how they're eating this year.
A lot of corn.
Did Kristen just have to go through her like, man, I never made so many corn recipes in my life. Souffle.
That's a lot of carbs.
We're still, by the way, I got multiple text messages yesterday And I one of my homework jobs last night, and I got completely sidetracked by Liverpool and Leeds yesterday in the Premier League. Shout out to our buddy Tony Annan. He's having surgery this morning. He's got just some cleanup. The sport of soccer very rough on the knees, and Coach Annan is
shout out to you.
Yep.
But
I actually sent him a picture of something that it's an apparatus that my son used when he had ankle surgery, and it basically it kind of is like almost like a peg leg type thing. I'll have to show you guys a picture. It's really cool. But you're kind of walking on your knee per se, and then it takes it to the bottom, so you're kind of walking.
So you're actually
on a
walking.
scooter. It's really kind of a cool device. And he said, "Oh, that's great." He said, "Actually, my doctor would recommend it." I was like, "Well, shoot, our doctor didn't. We found it online." So anyway, I don't know if he's going to be a pirate for a few days or. So I told him, I said, if you use that, you have to have a parrot on your shoulder, and you have to have at least one eye patched up.
The crutch technology has advanced greatly since I was on crutches.
So anyway, but I had a homework assignment for myself yesterday because we are still efforting, and I feel like there's a good chance we're going to pull this off, where the Cornbread Cowboy will go join us. It has now become there's so many great guests out there, and yet somehow this guy has become my white whale to get the. And so yesterday I meant to get on Instagram and watch.
It's still there today.
It's still there, so that'll be part of my homework for today to watch this. But but maybe that's what it is Christian Coggins, just cornbread meals out in Nebraska, just
corn
left and
souffle.
right. Yes, just
corn on the cob, cream corn.
But there's a lot of people.
Street corn.
For the record, nobody needs to go and point out to Nebraska fans that I don't really blame Mark. Again, he took some blame, but in the big picture, it made sense. Gunnar Stockton was committed to South Carolina when Marcus Satterfield was hired and decommitted. Like, if you're just that person who wants to push that narrative out there and be like, hey, we feel for you, Nebraska fans. Like, we had Gunnar Stockton from the state of Georgia, and we lost him to Georgia when Satterfield was hired. You guys looked like you were going to land the number one quarterback.
Seems like
the
I've
number
seen
one player.
something in common, Bill.
There's a common denominator here. It's Will Muschamp just picking the pocket of Marcus Satterfield every time he turns around. Also, just for the record, Nebraska fans are partially blaming Mike Bobo. So maybe just South Carolina's
tangled web.
Previous two coordinators are just enemy number one and number two of Nebraska fans today, as they have lost what appears to be, again, it looks like Georgia will strengthen their 2023 class by landing the number one player and the number one quarterback in the country.
You don't say.
And so 803-404-6200. We'll get into a little bit of, are they back? And Nebraska's biggest mistake, I'll ask Preston this. Leaving the Big Ten for the Big E, leaving the Big 12 for the Big 10 years ago, because there's just that's been the downside of conference realignment. Just absolutely crushing that. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 107.5 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Sponsored by TrainInfo.com. Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. TrainInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Sponsored by Lowe's. Hurry and shop the final days of Springfest at Lowe's and get the best values of the season before they're gone. Save big on the Eagle 15-inch string trimmer. It was $219. Now it's $199. Shop Lowe's today. Valid through 4/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Let's text entitled with approved critical 866-243-4623 for details. JT means Jeeps and trucks. The biggest Jeep and truck selection in South Carolina is at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Get your new 2023 Jeep Wrangler now. Save $5,000 off. Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, Compass, Wagoneer. New Jeeps up to $7,500 off. New Rams up to $11,000 off. Shaky credit, don't sweat it. JT says you're approved. JT means Jeeps and trucks. 378 Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Jeep celebration event.
Not even the most well-kept homes are immune to termites. So call Dodson Pest Control. With over 75 years of experience, they will We'll make sure your home is looking good inside and outside your walls. Visit DodsonBROS.com to find an office near you. Dodson, the pest professionals you trust.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When a work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Gutterman offers a variety of guards for your gutter. Protect your biggest investment. Call the guys in the powder blue trucks. Locally owned and operated for 46 years. Call 791-7147. That's 791-7147.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
I'm proud to work for Volvo Cars because we're helping build a safer, more sustainable future for everyone. My name is Tamara Thompson. I'm from South Carolina, born and raised in Sumter. I'm a quality launch supervisor at the Volvo Cars plant in Ridgeville. I'm helping build the new Volvo EX90 here. At Volvo Cars, people are at the center. We feel supported, recognized, and feel like we can grow our careers. And we're hiring. Apply now at readysc.org/Volvo.
No manufacturing experience required. Must be 18 years or older with a high school diploma or GED. Get the right care at the right place. Visit Lexington Medical Center's convenient urgent care centers for minor illnesses and injuries, and use our emergency room for emergencies. Go to lexmed.com/care now to know where to go for the care you need now.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Just one accident out there to let you know about. I-20 westbound between Monticello Road and Broad River Road. A little extra caution as you pass through that area if you would. It'll be nice for the next few days. 81, sunny and warm today. 87 tomorrow, 88 for Thursday. Just a little cool this morning with a breeze. It is 45 at 1075 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks.
1075 The Game.
Are they back? It's that time of the year to play that. Like, this is where we get into what the silly season, Preston. This is where we start, like,
my favorite season.
We start getting it into, like, all right, is this program back? Is that program back? Florida State was one that I did say at the end of bowl season, just in terms of, I'm a believer there are bowls that matter. Like, I don't know if South Carolina is where it is today if they had lost the Duke Mayo Bowl and been 6-7 in Shane Beamer's first year. But winning that game and having a 500 record has been above 500 record in his first year was a catalyst for a lot of big things if you go back. This year, Gator Bowl, you were playing a really good team in Notre Dame. You had stuff. I had said leading up to that, as long as you don't get embarrassed, as long as it wasn't like 35-3 or I didn't think that one mattered as much. I'll give you another example of bowl games. Back in the day when South Carolina was on their 5-game win streak against Clemson, now over a decade ago, one of the things that saved Dabo Swinney was going and winning big bowl games. He would go win, like they lost. They lost to, I can't remember, Clemson fans, I'm sure you know, but they lost to South Carolina, and I think we were down at the Outback. Might have been the Michigan, the Clowney hit year on Vince Smith, because I think we were at the New Year's Eve party that we were at in the harbor, and Taj Boyd was out of his mind, and they beat it was LSU and I think the then Peach Bowl, and it was a huge win, and it kind of took the focus off of the South Carolina loss, and it would save him just enough. They would win a big bowl game. Florida State this year, I thought, had one of the bigger bowl games out there. They were playing Oklahoma. I actually thought it was big for Oklahoma because Oklahoma was 6-6 at the time, and I was like, "Whoa, Oklahoma, Brent Venables' first year, you don't want to have a losing record." And for Florida State, if they won that game going in, that was going to get them to 10 victories, and that's a pretty significant number in this rebuild for Florida State, and that's why I thought that bowl was actually very important. It ended up being a great game, 35-32, I think was the final, and Florida State ends up winning it. They end up winning 10 games, Preston, and are they back? Are they ready to challenge Clemson? Well, I don't know. Now you're getting we go into silly season, and that's what people are starting to ask. Florida State, 10-3 last year, 5-3 in conference. Jordan Travis, by the way, threw for 418 yards in that bowl game. People are already kind of starting to say, hey, look out for the Seminoles, who, by the way, opened the season against LSU I think it's Sunday night. I think it's the Sunday night before Labor Day.
Well, it's about trending. So Florida State is definitely trending up. Are they back? I don't know. 10 games is significant anywhere. Anytime you can get to 10, you're officially in any conversations. I would say that Clemson is holding steady. We're in a wait and see pattern with Clemson because they have a new offensive coordinator. They didn't live up to their own expectations of what they have, which credit to them by winning so much. They have set expectations, whereas last year I believe they won 9 games, and it's kind of a disappointing deal. Obviously, losing to us is worse. So, is Florida State back? I don't know. Are they trending in the right direction? Yes. They seem to have recruiting momentum going. Mike Norvell seems to be the guy for that program. He seems to have everything going in the right direction. They seem to have found somebody, which they were wandering in the wilderness for a while as far as a head coaching concern. And the whole point about are you back is, do you have somebody that you think is going to take this thing to the next level? And Mike Norvell seems to be that person.
There's a couple. We'll kind of play this throughout the morning. You always ask. This is what we always do with Texas. I'll give you we'll take a little look around college football because there was other spring games that took place over the weekend, one of which was the Texas spring game.
Or that didn't go very well.
Well, for what you got to narrow it down.
Yes.
See, you got to narrow it down. Who did it not go well for?
Well, I think the person everybody wanted it to go well for, it did not go well for.
Yeah, Arch Manning. We'll get you his stats he made his official, I was going to say college football debut. Maybe that's more of he made his official Texas debut in the spring game, and we'll get you that. But yeah, he drew some criticism from fans. Fans are already like, hey, we got another quarterback in the pipeline because this Manning kid's not quite good.
So what happens to because doesn't he have about $3 million in NIL money or something insane like that?
I never saw an official thing for the NIL with Arch Manning. I think sometimes these things get blown so out of proportion by people want it. Do I think there are ridiculous deals out there? Yes. But I also think that it's like just somebody hears something. It's like the old cup and a string game where I've got a cup and a string. It's not actually talking to Preston. He kind of hears there's some in and out. Yeah. And the next thing you know, he's relating to you like I might say, hey, he's getting $30 an hour. And Preston's like, $300 an hour. By the time it gets to you, it's like, he got $3 million for signing one autograph. Like,
yeah.
Also, Arch has I don't know what that UNCLE money, uncle money.
He's got uncle money.
He's got a lot of that. So
he got a lot of unks. Yeah.
Trust me, I don't think Arch is counting on the NIL money to make a decision.
Well, we'll tell you a little bit more about it. He was 5 of 13 for 30 yards.
He did not burst on the scene.
He did not burst on the scene. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers was like, "Ooh, I got some competition. Better perform." And perform he did. We'll be back. Hour 2 on the way. JC Shurburtt will get back into the Carolina spring games. The early game, 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Getting rid of pests is not a do-it-yourself project, so call the 75-year professionals at Dodson Pest Control first. Visit DodsonBROS.com to find an office near you. Dodson, the pest professionals you trust.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's $7,500 sign-on bonuses, increased pay, and great employee benefits available. Start your new year off with a new career. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Family is comfort. It's care. It's a safe place. It seems when you need help, you can always count on family. At Broom Heating, Air, and Electrical, they are a family you can depend on and have been for 53 years. Heating and air is their passion. Customer service is their pleasure. And when Broom Heating, Air, and Electrical are in your home, your family is theirs. For an appointment, call 803-754-9409 or visit their website at broomheating.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free.
There we go. Yeah, Quinn did. I haven't watched much of it. I've seen some highlights, Casey, but yeah, Quinn's supposed to.
Did he play well?
He was 16 and 23, something like that. He played well. $3 million. I have to go back and look at that. Yeah, Satterfield. Reno seems locked in.
I imagine we'll be hearing some announcements here shortly.
What?
I imagine we'll be hearing some announcements here shortly.
Yeah, Beamer actually said yesterday. What did he speak as? Did he have a press conference yesterday? Oh, he's talked to the Gamecock Gala last night. Is it Gala or Gala?
Good question. I think it's Gala. Gala? Gala. Thank you.
I can't.
Say Gamecock Gala. How do you pronounce?
Pollen has finally affected me to the point that I was driving up to Patriot. I don't know if I can talk for 3 hours. This is the first time I've ever been sick
What's that
before.
hallelujah chorus?
You say hallelujah, you get the last 2 hours. I'm fine with that.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
It is the big game, man. It's the big day. You got to gut through this one. I got faith in you.
And Jen Jensen.
He'll make it. He'll just whine through half of it. So that's how it's going to work.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Any nostalgia for you watching the Kings last night. Richard on our text line stayed up. He said until 1:38 watching the Kings. Any nostalgia for the Chris Webber, Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby days?
Let's go further. Hedo Turkoglu.
Oh, we got a Hedo Turkoglu.
Bobby Jackson.
Wow.
And my favorite, Vlade Divac.
That's right. Yeah,
I love that squad. That was a fun squad to watch. Underrated squad being that they never won. Obviously, they ran.
They
into
blew
Kobe.
it. They blew it. They had it. What was it? A 17-point fourth quarter lead in Game 6. I think it wasn't Game 7. I thought it was Game 6 that they blew it in because then the Lakers smacked them in Game 7. I thought, but I want to say that comeback was that big Kobe Bryant Shaquille highlight where Kobe got into the lane and just floated up and Shaq flushed it.
That's the one. But that team was fun to watch, man. They had a bunch of interesting characters, interesting guys who played basketball. Doug Christie was on that squad. I really did like that team. Actually, now that you say that, and that was probably my peak level of NBA roster knowledge. So I don't think I could go that deep on any roster in the NBA right now.
Speaking of Shaq, very quickly, finally, you were here when I was making the joke about him hiding in his house so that he would not be served the FTX lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
They finally got him.
They found him.
They finally located him. They finally were able to locate a big 7'3" dude wandering around, and he is finally been served in this FTX lawsuit. So
go get him. Any of those celebrities that are out there shilling for Bitcoin.
Like that.
They need to be brought to the court.
The lawyers, the group of lawyers that are serving him, has put out that O'Neal's shocking conduct to avoid dozens of attempts to serve him over 5 months. JC Shurburtt joining us now from thebigspur.com. JC, I would assume that would be what we should all do. If we're about to be served, we just hide in our house and we peek through the blinders. Just pull the curtain back. No, I'm not here.
Blinders?
Depends on what it's for. I'm like,
yeah.
But no, I think it would kind of be a fun game to play. I don't think I've ever been served, to be honest. I don't think I've ever.
I think that's a good
thing.
Had that. That's a good thing.
So yeah, I think I've been fortunate. I'm trying to think.
I feel like if you've been served,
the one time I had a legal situation where I probably could have sort of a mutual deal, so it wasn't. I didn't get served. So we'll see. We'll see if old JC can hold that off for another 46 years, right?
There you go. That is the attitude. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, if you're Shaq, you just holed up in your house, like just sneaking out the back door to go to the TNT studio again. Just sunglasses and a mustache. Got the old Bobby Valentine look there going.
Yeah, we snuck into the dugout. Yeah, I mean, of all the people on earth, how does Shaq hide? I mean, it's just, you're just like, I mean, that's one of the most recognizable people on the planet. I mean, you can't, there's no disguise for Shaq, right?
No, there's none. No, and I always like how they try to pass off Shaq or LeBron getting into a Kia. And that's the car for those guys. Like, just, these two guys got in a Kia and they're good to go.
That's my mother's arch nemesis commercial. She's like, "There's no way Shaq's getting in this Buick. It's impossible." And it's like a sport Buick. It's like, come on, man. He has to go sit in the back seat of the Buick. Impossible.
Well, do you remember that from Bubba Smith in Police Academy?
Yeah.
He takes out the front seat so he can get in the car.
Exactly.
Yes, that's classic.
There we go. Police Academy reference.
What was his name? Tackleberry? What was it? What was Bubba Smith's character name?
Tackleberry was the guy with the affinity for guns.
That's right. I remember Tackleberry, Nordberg. I'll figure it out. The Nordberg was Naked Gun. Hightower.
Yep.
Nordberg was O.J. Simpson's character in The Naked Gun.
That's right.
Yep.
But, we won't talk about O.J. Simpson. Although, if anyone out there is a Dave Chappelle fan and you listen to his one stand-up show where he talks about the 5 times he saw O.J. Simpson, it's hilarious.
That is a classic bit. That is a classic bit. Mm-hmm. JC, we've gone the range from Police Academy to
Naked Gun, O.J. Simpson.
We're off to a blazing start. Let's go.
Well, let's circle the wagons back to one of the main things. Let's just I did this with Jamie Bradford yesterday, and then we'll kind of play off of you. Your your take on what you saw Saturday night from the South Carolina spring game?
Well, it was a spring game. There's a lot of different things people want to know about definitively right now, and it's impossible to say. I thought Dowell Loggins' offense looked kind of like I expected. Kind of the same kinds of things they did at the end of last season, but there's a lot more to it in the passing game, it looks like. For example, when they attacked the flats, a lot of the previous stuff was behind the line of scrimmage. This is kind of like some air raid stuff where they kind of, it's 5-yard outs and it's quick outs, but it's still in front of the sticks. I think we all like that, right? They threw a slant, and that was good. They went downtown a couple of times, and I was sitting there thinking, guys, I was like, well, if this is vanilla, what is not vanilla? I mean, that's encouraging to me because I thought they did some really cool stuff, really aggressive stuff, really modern stuff when it came to the passing game on Saturday night. So I thought that was, everybody wanted to know about Dowell Loggins. Well, I think he's going to do just fine. I think that Spencer Rattler looked obviously really good. As far as individual takeaways go, with some of the younger guys, I thought Pup Howard looks like he's going to be a player. Stone Blanton between the tackles has really improved. He's not, taking the false steps. He looks a little quicker. He's making short tackles. I think Jaylon Kilgore is going to be a fantastic player at South Carolina. Eddie Lewis on the offensive side of the ball, the kid from Memphis. I mean, first play of the game, he's open. Spencer just overshot him a little bit. That happens, but he got open a lot, I thought. And I think as he continues to progress, he's going to be good. Very impressed with the two tight ends, Trey Knox and Josh Simon. I mean, that's those guys. Those guys are significant upgrades from last year. I mean, believe it or not.
Are you in? We talked a little bit about it yesterday. What Shane Beamer said after the game, that he likes his tight end room more now. Maybe likes is the wrong word, but
his quote was, "We are better in the tight end room than we were last year."
You like that? I think Preston was questioning that. Are you in that the tight end room is better this year than it was last year?
I mean, I toted the banner for Jaheim Bell to get the ball more last year, like every week. You know that. So I don't want to sound like I think Jaheim is not a great player. He is. He's a great athlete and a very versatile playmaker. But as far as guys that just play tight end, right? I mean, yeah, you're gonna split Knox out some and Simon out some and all that, but they can block and they can do different things. And then you consider last year, I thought Austin Stogner, I mean, the minute he got going, all of a sudden, mysteriously, he wasn't playing. I didn't think Austin Stogner was strong enough last year. Of course, I love Nate Atkins, and we didn't see that till the end. And so I think there would be a good debate either way. But I think that when you have Knox and Simon, and they are what they are, that's probably what Beamer's getting at. Is like, hey, these are two guys that are complete tight ends. I think Knox will get drafted, to be honest with you, maybe pretty high, and probably Simon too. And then you got Elksness and you got the younger guys. So my question for Beamer would be, okay, those younger guys, are they the types of guys you look at and say down the road they're going to be really good and things like that? Nick Elksness, who came in from Florida, has 3 more years left. I thought he blocked pretty well the other night. So, I think it's certainly something that you can debate, but I do think that whenever you lose your entire room, you can come up with a group like this to replace them. That's probably pretty positive at the end of the day.
We'll discuss this more kind of as we roll through the morning, but one of the incredible hot takes that Preston and Jen instantly wrote down as soon as I said it, last year, Jaheim Bell and Austin Stogner combined for 45 catches for, I think it was 460 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was the combined numbers. I predicted yesterday Trey Knox eclipses both of those. I'll give him 46 catches, 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. You going with me on that, or is that am I stepping too far out on a branch there?
I think touchdown wise, you may be right, because I think Trey had 7. Trey or Josh 1 had 7 last 46 catches. I mean, that would nearly double, I think, his career high. So, I don't know. South Carolina's got a lot of weapons in the passing game, but certainly he is one of them. But when you talk about that high of a number, who knows? I mean, because Juice Wells is going to get his. You'd hope Leggett gets his. Amari Brown gets his. I mentioned Eddie Lewis. I think he's definitely going to get his. Simon's going to get his. And so, the number, that may be a little high, but I'll be right there with you on the touchdowns. I think, Roman Harper was talking about on the broadcast, like what kind of weapon those guys could be in the red zone when you have to throw the ball in, which the Gamecocks may have to a few times this year. What kind of weapon he can be. And so I think touchdown-wise, he could get 9-10 touchdown receptions next year.
We'll continue on with that. Preston's kind of looking at me. That's not. I'm going to stick with it. We'll talk a little bit about this offense because the other part of that is the running back position, JC, and we'll get into a little bit of the transfer portal, a little bit into DeCarrion Joyner, and maybe even another police academy reference somewhere along the line if we can sneak that in there somewhere.
I got you.
Is that a reference?
No.
Okay.
This is my reference that, I love the movie.
Okay. Got to admit, never seen any of them.
Oh, my God.
What?
Never seen any of them. Yeah.
You are
it's an American tragedy.
Well, we'll discuss that. And what are truly American tragedies what movies you haven't seen? Well, we got a lot to do here over the next 48 minutes. You're listening to Preston Thorne. I'm Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen, and he's JC Shurburtt in on his Tuesday morning visit. It's the early game. I want to 107.5 the game.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 the game.
Time to start using the pool. Time to get out back and enjoy the pool season, whether you're grilling and having the kids jump around, whether it's you having a nice, lazy Saturday afternoon, whatever it is swim season, everybody. Get the bathing suits ready, but make sure the pool is nice and clean. If it's not, it's time to call the experts, Corley Pool Solutions. With over 20 years of maintaining the pools around the Columbia and Lexington area, it's time to call Tracy Corley and get him out to your house. He believes in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family, and they do it at a flat rate cost, including the chemicals. 803-445-8109. You can use Tracy Corley and not have any worries, no stress. Let them do all of the work. And again, they'll do it for flat rate pricing, including the chemicals. So now you can come home on the afternoons or enjoy the pool on the weekends and not have to worry about going to the pool store, making sure you get the right chemicals to keep it clean, overspending on things you don't need. You can let the experts take care of your pool and prevent costly damage to pool equipment, to your pool itself, by using Corley Pool Solutions. 803-445-8109. Get your maintenance scheduled today. 803-445-8109. That's Corley Pool Solutions.
Get 15% off when you buy a set of BrakeBest Select or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors through April 25th at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you hear it's Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot and Ryobi 40-volt expanded cordless string trimmers are just $179, what are you driven to do? Clear out winter's overgrowth? Clean up the driveway lines? Or take a lighter touch around the flower beds? Hurry into the Home Depot during Spring Black Friday to get more done with the extended runtime and precision control of the Ryobi 40-volt expanded cordless string trimmer. Now just $179. Shop Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB, 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Sponsored by KFC. Everybody's going to want KFC's new Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets. Each hand-breaded nugget is made with 100% white meat and their famous original recipe. You've never had nuggets like these. That's finger-licking good.
The demand for your used car is at an all-time high, and it's never been worth more. Herndon Chevrolet needs your trade. We'll buy your car, even if you don't buy ours. And to prove it, we're willing to beat any written offer by $500. That's right, we'll beat any written offer by $500. Visit Herndon Chevrolet today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
803-630-5929 for more details.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español.
Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Locally owned Atlantic Windows and Doors has been making Columbia area homes more comfortable, attractive, weather-tight, and energy efficient for over 35 years. How? By distributing products from the best window and door manufacturers in the country. These products give you the best looks, the best quality, and the best value, all based on your specific needs. And everything is professionally installed by their dedicated and experienced employees, not subcontractors. Atlantic Windows and Doors. Visit them online at awdsc.com.
Wrestling fans, feel the podcast heat. Woo! Join Hall of Fame wrestlers every week, sharing their stories from the past and insights on what's happening now.
Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff. Look at some of the early WrestleManias and the effort that went into them and the kind of crowds they attracted. You know, Pontiac Silverdome, for example.
Foley is Pod with Mick Foley.
There is no loss too steep if it makes for good TV.
Yes. Just search Podcast Heat wherever you listen.
The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
And we do have a few tie-ups to let you know about this morning. I-20 westbound between Monticello Road and Broad River Road. Also, Farrow Road near 277, a report of an accident there. Old Hopkins Road at Garner's Ferry, you'll find a slowdown. And one other tie-up to let you know about on I-26 eastbound, that would be between Harbison and Piney Grove. Your forecast for today looking pretty nice. 81, in fact, going to be warming up for the middle part of the week. 87 tomorrow, 88 on Thursday. Right now, a little cool, though, to get you started. 45, a little bit breezy at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence, knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The Early Game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Bill has no clue.
Are we playing Christmas music in April?
Oh, Preston, that hurts my heart.
I figured out what it is. Bill and I are close to the same age, and Police Academy was one of those movies that was playing in the background, maybe just randomly on
TNT or TBS.
Nah, like as my father would have called it, home box office. You know,
oh, that's funny.
Playing on home box office. You know, it's just like a movie that was just constantly around.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand how you may not have really caught that one, because it just seemed like it was just around, and it was one of those, like, Police Academy, Revenge of the Nerds.
The 80s movies. JC, you're a big 80s movie guy, aren't you? Because Patrick Perrette was. Patrick was big on this.
really?
And they were, he would get wildly offended at 80s movies that I haven't. The Breakfast Club and what's the other, the Goonies and just, I'm not an 80s.
The Johnny, yeah. I mean, look, and I'm hit or miss with that. Like, I mean, I've seen The Breakfast Club. I could take it or leave it.
Right.
I've seen Say Anything. I've seen Pretty in Pink. All those
16
drama,
Candles.
teen drama, 16 Candles.
Yeah.
And look, I could take them or leave. The John Hughes, I guess a lot of them are John Hughes.
John Hughes.
But then I get into like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or Goonies or Ghostbusters or E.T. Those are all 80s movies. Top Gun, obviously. Those movies, were classics. So I don't know. I just kind of hit or miss. Porky's is one that's
There you go. That's what I was thinking of.
Meatballs is funny. And so that's
we need to have an 80s movie weekend with Bill.
I'm looking back just to see, because you can look at Facebook and you can see your memories. Because you made me we had movie day. Shawshank Redemption, they made me watch one time.
I wouldn't have, but
Jen made me watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
which you didn't really totally get to watch, because you were distracted trying to actually do the show as well. So that's one that you really have to watch, in its entirety for all of the idiosyncrasies.
But see, in there, y'all just described two sets of different 80s movies. You've got they were called the Brat Pack, right? I couldn't name one of them out of that.
Molly Ringwald was one of them, and Michael Anthony Hall, was that another one?
Maybe that seems what he.
St. Elmo's Fire was one of them.
Yeah, Emilio
good
Estevez.
But
Emilio Estevez.
Because now see, there was what he just named, and I don't know if these are 80s movies, but like the Bill Murray, Chevy Chase movie, Fletch. Stripes. You mentioned Meatballs. Animal House is what Hope was in.
Caddyshack. Yeah. Caddyshack.
That was those I've watched. Like I'll watch if Animal House is
There's
on.
a lot of good movies that came out of the 80s. Now that we're
That's true.
sitting here talking about it.
To heck with sports. This is great.
Yeah. People are just weighing in now randomly. John says Jen is a rock star. Love the Police Academy theme. Troy just goes with Revenge of the Nerds.
How did I forget about that?
Craig goes Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, good call.
Mark goes with Weird Science. Hope's favorite, Top Gun.
Yeah, of course. Never wanted to play beach volleyball more.
Oh, I get it. JC is a big Roadhouse guy. Are you a Roadhouse?
I actually did not watch Roadhouse until last year. Believe it or not.
I would say something, but there's so many movies that y'all would name that I'll be like, I hadn't seen that. I can't say a word about that.
I'll admit that I think I admitted that on my show one time. So anyway, somebody's probably familiar with that. The J.C. Shurburtt Roadhouse.
LaDonna says, "Come on, guys." LaDonna goes, Airplane.
Oh
God,
my gosh!
Airplane, man. There's just so many good ones.
Yeah, that's another one, Bill. That like I told you with Police Academy. Don't have the sun around.
Similar stuff.
Oh yeah, Jen off air was explaining some things about Police Academy.
Yeah.
One of my favorite games is to watch old movies and just be like, oh, that wouldn't fly now.
Oh my, right?
That's today.
Yeah.
Don't think we could get away with that now. That's one of my favorite games to play.
Right.
I'll get stand-up comedy from the 80s. Both of Eddie Murphy's comedy specials, Raw and Delirious, you could not do.
You're just like, I don't think we can do that anymore.
No, I don't think you could do a lot of them. Like, is George Carlin 80s stand-up or is that 70s?
70s,
more late 70s.
70s, 80s. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it. What cracks me up though is like all of a sudden we bring this up and people are just weighing in. Like Weekend at Bernie's. I've got people just sending in quotes. I've got people saying we hadn't had this much interaction talking football all morning.
You telling me the spring game running back matchup didn't get people fired up?
Nobody. I did. One anonymous texter just says, "Can you mention why Marshawn Lloyd only had one reception and no carries in the Southern Cal spring game?"
You know what?
This is another genre I really like. Following transfers.
JC, I mean, do we get into that now? Is that now the new like post spring kind of discussion of like, hey, how did our transfers do at other schools?
I don't know that that's a big deal. Look, Marshall's got to get lathered up. He's got to play. I mean, that's he's got elite talent. But if he wants to go anywhere from any school, he's got to get the ball in his hands and carry the football. So you never know what's happening in the spring game as far as who's getting touches and what the situation is and injuries and all that. But I'm not saying that's a red flag, but I don't know.
JC, you don't have to say it because I will. The people who are good on the teams get the ball, and if you get one reception in the spring, that is usually not a great indication for what the rest of the spring looks like, what the rest of the summer is going to look like.
On the Lloyd situation, I kind of found it interesting. It didn't hit me until about a couple of weeks ago, and I've been saying this. Y'all remember Jordan Addison left Pitt like after spring out of the blue to go out to Southern Cal. Well, I kind of looked at where's Jordan Addison from originally? Well, he's from like that Maryland, D.C. area where Marshawn played. And guess who else is from there?
Caleb Williams.
And guess who else is up there? Caleb Williams' dad. and look, I think it's just kind of interesting that out of nowhere, and then that's where he ends up. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me. In my opinion.
There's a connection. It'll look. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Florida State's spring game is this coming weekend, and there's going to be people that want to follow Jaheim Bell and see what happens there.
And by people, you mean Preston.
Preston.
I
yes.
will be reporting live next week on Jaheim Bell stats from the Florida State game. That's me.
Well, I got a pretty good source down at FSU, and they like him. They think he's gonna. They think Norvell's got a lot of, creativity that they can implement with him, and then yesterday Florida State actually flipped a really good tight end prospect from Georgia, a 5-star kid that so I think Jaheim may kind of set the table, this year for that guy, and all that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what FSU does with him and Gilbert Edmond and the other former Gamecock. Well, I guess the other former Gamecocks are gone now, but yeah, they seem to love to take former Gamecocks down at FSU.
It is. It's South Carolina South down there. With you had Keir Thomas, you had Jamie Robinson. I feel like I'm forgetting one other that might be
the big lineman.
Jasden Turntine.
Yes, Turntine, who actually they moved him to guard, and he played quite a bit.
I can see that. Real quick on the national recruiting, because we talked about this earlier, and I was kind of joking. Nebraska fans are not pleased with a certain offensive coordinator. I don't know if you can speak much to the actual recruiting battle, but it looks like Dylan. Is it Raiola? Am I Raiola?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Raiola, yeah.
Are you okay? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I was just taking a swig of Cherry Coke Zero here.
No, nothing like that. Bright and early at 6:30 in the morning.
There's no bourbon in it. No bourbon.
Yeah, no good thing there. But no, we were joking earlier about Nebraska and already being upset. They feel that Marcus Satterfield has already blown the number one player in the country, number one quarterback in the country there as it looks like he is now going to commit to Georgia maybe for a nice NIL deal.
Well, Georgia, I mean, they played Satterfield's offense two years in a row. I mean, they're familiar with what he did. I mean, I would think they'd have a pretty good, I guess, counterpoint to go to Nebraska. I think anytime you talk quarterbacks too, sometimes and look at South Carolina. I mean, Marcus Satterfield, you got to give him credit for recruiting the quarterbacks he did. I don't question that, and I'm not going to sit there and as much of a issue as I had with his offense, play calling, and all that. I'm fair. I'm old school like that. Fair is fair. You can compartmentalize these things, but I also think that the rest of the staff did a really good job with your Spencer Rattlers and Tanner Bailey's, particularly Shane Beamer and the rest of the offensive staff. So, Matt Rule's not necessarily known as a dynamic recruiter like Shane is. And, Georgia obviously recruits as well as anyone. So, when you look at I think everything's about matchups, just like football and recruiting. The matchups don't really favor Nebraska in that situation. And look, Nebraska fans get mad all they want. They haven't won in a long, long time. I think Rule will probably, he's turned it around everywhere he's been in short notice. I think he'll win out there. But, those expectations, though, to get a guy like that, and I know there's some connection to Nebraska that he has. That those expectations are maybe a little far-fetched. Now, at the same time, you flip it on the other side. Why would you go to Georgia right now as a quarterback? You got Carson Beck, you got Gunnar Stockton, you got Mike Bobo as the OC. I mean, he and Stockton go back to when Stockton was 6 years old. Gunnar Stockton is a really good player. So where's your playing time going to come from, especially if like Vandergrift doesn't leave? So there's 3 deep already. You could go to Nebraska and probably start really, 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 really soon. And I also think, it's weird because I would think that Satterfield's multiple tight end rhetoric would get him, because quarterbacks, they want to play in the Chiefs offense or whatever. But, Georgia uses the tight end quite a bit. Now, I don't know how that's going to change under Mike Bobo. I still think, obviously, they're going to throw it to Bowers pretty much a lot, and to their Oscar Delp and guys like that. But, I would think that tight end thing would have hurt him, but I don't know, considering the other team's Georgia, and they do like to use those guys quite a bit.
We'll continue talking about that, and we will get back into a little bit of this discussion here as well. Steve in Blythewood goes with Love the Pryor and Wilder film. I feel like, Jen, that's something you would like, the Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder films.
Hear no evil, see no evil.
Yeah, he goes with that. Casey and Gilbert goes with Porky's Baby, although he says it might be in the 70s. John, I think here going with Halloween, late 70s, Halloween 2, best horror movies. Are we just saying that the best movies were made between about 78 and 89?
Yeah, that was a good era, to be honest.
Contemplate on that. We'll come back and discuss on the next side. You're listening to The Early Game, home of the 70s and 80s movies discussion on a Tuesday morning.
We are very social.
At 1075 The Game on Twitter, 1075 The Game on Instagram, and 1075 The Game on Facebook.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request? I'll have to check.
Your home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take it.
I am Dorothy Dodson. My husband started Dodson Pest Control over 75 years ago. We are an American family-owned business, and that's how we treat our customers, like family. Visit DodsonBROS.com. And thank you for choosing Dodson.
Let's text and title with approved credit call 866-243-4623 for details. JT means Jeeps and trucks. The biggest Jeep and truck selection in South Carolina is at JT's Jeep Ram Lexington. Get your new 2023 Jeep Wrangler now. Save $5,000 off. Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, Compass, Wagoneer. New Jeeps up to $7,500 off. New Rams up to $11,000 off. Shaky credit, don't sweat it. JT says you're approved. JT means Jeeps and trucks. 378 Lexington. JT'sJeepRam.com. Jeep celebration event.
Bassmaster is coming to Lake Murray. Come watch the Elite Series pros and check out the Outdoors Expo, including food trucks, booths, and interactive exhibits. Plus, enjoy live music on Saturday from Christian Bush of Sugarland.
It's already yours.
It'll be fun for the whole family. Save your money on the state park parking fee and take the free shuttle. Be at the Marathon Bassmaster Elite at Lake Murray, April 20th through the 23rd at Dreer Island State Park, and catch the fun. Details at Bassmaster.com.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Hood team at Coldwell Banker. You know, the Columbia real estate market continues to evolve. In fact, our market is now one of the fastest growing in all of the United States. Danny Hood, Karen Hood, their son, William DiMaggio, have more than 37 years of experience in Columbia real estate, and they're ready to help you, whether it's buying or selling your home. 803-730-2512, thehoodteam.com. Put those years of experience to work for you with the Hood team.
I'm proud to work for Volvo Cars because we're helping build a safer, more sustainable future for everyone. My name is Tamara Thompson. I'm from South Carolina, born and raised in Sumter. I'm a quality launch supervisor at the Volvo Cars plant in Ridgeville. I'm helping build the new Volvo EX90 here. At Volvo Cars, people are at the center. We feel supported, recognized, and feel like we can grow our careers. And we're hiring. Apply now at readysc.org/Volvo.
No manufacturing experience required. Must be 18 years or older with a high school diploma or GED.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot, and we have laundry appliances that just fit. Fit your space, fit your needs, and fit your budget. Like a new Samsung laundry set with large capacity, so you spend less time doing laundry. And with sensor dry technology to automatically optimize time and temperature, you'll spend less energy on it too. Save up to $600 on this Samsung laundry set in-store and online during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good morning to you. This is a First Alert Traffic update. As we see live around the region, there has not been anything with confirmed collisions or major slowdowns early that, of course, will be causing problems to go about your travels for the day at a normal pace. If that changes, of course, we see anything live popping up on the map, we'll make sure to let you know as the morning continues on. This has been a First Alert Traffic Update. I'm WIS meteorologist Tony Chivaroli.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
You know this? Jen was so excited in the break. JC, you got anything on this? You got anything on? Can you hear the bumper music, I guess?
Definitely from the 80s.
That's Dave Edmonds from the movie Porky's.
Porky's.
I love this song. It's very fun.
Radio, so show of hands doesn't work. But if we go around the room, Preston, have you seen Porky's?
No.
JC, Porky's?
I have. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. But
all right, so we got
pretty
2
fun.
no's and 2 yeses on that. So, because I'm a no on Porky. I don't even really know at least some of them I kind of understand what the plot line is there. Porky's is...
It's a little different. It's set, I think, kind of more back in the 50s or something.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And they kind of go up against a bar owner, and shenanigans.
I think
ensue.
at this point, if you give a spoiler alert, it's perfectly fine. At this,
hold on.
and it's also high school boys being high school boys.
Yeah. I
Their
know
interests.
shenanigans. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I think I remember. No Porkies for is just shenanigans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Things that you'd be like
Kim Cattrall got a performance in there. Yeah.
Okay.
shenanigans.
All right. There we go. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're still in the school drop off line phase of the show where we have to keep it very, very.
If you're going to school, do not imitate most of the things that happen in Porkies.
Yes,
That would be
yes,
correct.
kids. This is the portion of the program where we try to stay very. What is the kids rated now? Is it just G? Because I know PG is parental guidance, and so we try to keep it a little bit different here.
Tune in after the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, the 8 o'clock hour, kids. You don't know what you're missing after
It was
you.
just a fun song. It wasn't, didn't even have to go down the rabbit hole of the movie, but I just always thought the song was kind of peppy and fun.
Okay. All right. We'll continue on with this. So a couple of y'all just weighing in. Tony agreeing with Steve earlier, who said stir crazy in there. So yeah, a couple of y'all just keep. Sadler T went with Red Dawn. That's what happens when this happens. People just start sending it. They just type in the movie. They don't even just give any background. Just type in the movie. JC, we'll go back to football for a second. You've covered football recruiting for a long time. Travis has a question this morning. Wondering what you think about the new NCAA rule that will allow recruits to take as many visits as they want. What is your take on this new rule that'll now make it unlimited official visits? Preston, real quick. Preston, yesterday you said not much change. You don't see much change at all?
Yeah, I just didn't see much change as a sense from the limited amount of time and also the limited amount of money and effort. I'm not sure if this is that big a thing.
What you got there, JC?
I'm with Preston. I don't think it's like a game changer or anything, and which is concerning to me because with everything you need to tweak or adjust or fix with recruiting these days. That probably would not have been high on anyone's list that knew anything about recruiting. So I don't understand it. I think it's just. It's probably like an unnecessary thing that could go either way. Kids don't have a lot of time. Most of them, the vast majority of all recruits don't even take, but an average of 2 official visits. So, I don't know that there was a need for more opportunities to go, but then again, the 5 was sort of arbitrary to begin with. And some kid wants to go take 8 official visits, and more power to him. But to me, that wasn't an issue, and it also kind of I don't know that a kid can really consider seriously 5 schools, much less like 8 or 9. That's just not realistic, when you're talking about making a single decision. And so I don't see the need of wasting the time and money and effort of visiting all these other places, unless you sort of believe like it's your birthright, like a lot of these guys do. I deserve to take all these things. And then say, hey, look, they put in the work, the school wants to pay for it, that's fine. But I just thought it was an unnecessary change. I was like, well, that's not a problem. There's not a big problem with that right now. So, but that's the NCAA, and that's what they do. They sort of try to fix things that aren't issues in order to justify their continued existence.
Real quick on Josiah Thompson, we've talked a lot about him, but that was a commitment that occurred right after we left the air on Friday morning, so we haven't really discussed about it. But just another sign on the offensive line. Now you've landed really the top 4 offensive linemen in the state over the last 2 years, going back to Marquis Anderson. Now you've got big Cam Pringle, obviously big Josiah Thompson, and Blake Franks. It's going to be interesting, I guess, for me to see how Lonnie Teasley, Shane Beamer, how the whole group, Dow Loggins, handles this. What is your kind of take on where this offensive line what it might look like 2 years from today?
Yeah, you just got to throw guys out there, let them compete and develop them. I mean, offensive line's a developmental position. So, shoot with these guys. Will they be ready by 2025? Is it going to be 2026, 2027? You just don't know. But what I think you do need to do is continue to stack numbers. continue to, build the depth that you need. I think it was pretty obvious Saturday night. South Carolina does not have great depth on the O-line. They're getting there, and it's better than it used to be. But continue to stack those numbers, and not only do that, Bill, but stack them with quality guys that are big-time athletes that have that upside. That's huge. And I mentioned it before that when you go against the defensive lines you do in this conference, and then having to play Clemson and teams like North Carolina, you're going to face the best defensive lines in the country. So it's always better to have, some athletic ammo and some good players and some competition in that room to where you're putting your best five on the field to go to battle with every Saturday.
803-404-6100. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the program. But during the break, let's give you a chance to win tickets to Thursday night's South Carolina, Florida game over at Founders Park. We'll take two callers 4 and 5 right now. You can win tickets to to Thursday night's game against Florida. Again, callers 4 and 5, 803-404-6100. We'll give away some baseball tickets right now. Thursday night against Florida, 803-404-6100. Callers 4 and 5, win yourself a pair of tickets. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
It's time to multiply the fun with the new multiplier series of scratch-offs. Revealing an X symbol can multiply your winnings from 2 times all the way up to 100 times your prize on the $10 ticket. Check these out as supplies last. See SCEducationLottery.com for game odds and details.
Life matters. I was certain I mailed the letter. It was an important note concerning future employment. Deeply disappointed, I decided on another job when no reply came. The person awaiting my letter said he never received it. We were tense with each other for months. I believed he was lying. Months later, he received a water-damaged envelope with these words stamped across the front. Recovered from the crash of National Airlines Flight 872 in Pensacola Bay, May 8, 1978. We had blamed each other for lost opportunity. I'm so thankful that letter finally made its way from that watery grave into his mailbox. We were both ashamed of our behavior and were glad to rekindle our friendship. Some folks are like that concerning God. After years of missing his message, they awaken to discover that God really does love them, and his letter has been there all along. It's called the Bible. Take time to rediscover God's letter to you. This is Stephen Chitty, pastor of Christian Life. Remember, life matters, and so do you.
Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Pioneer Tree Service has more than 4 decades of helping homeowners maintain and manage trees on their property. Their skilled crew offers customized solutions that match your needs and budget. Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust the people that are doing the job. Before attempting to remove limbs, call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote. They remove limbs safely and make sure that future growth is directed away from potential trouble areas such as roof lines and driveways. Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands of pounds, and their removal must be handled with care. Pioneer Tree Service offers a full complement of state-of-the-art heavy equipment, from track hose to bucket trucks to safely remove trees and stumps from your property. And no matter where you live, the Gantt girls can get there. And I want you to call them at 803-794-8253.
That's the sound of the Doorbuster pricing event going on now at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Gotta go. Galliana Chrysler Jeep is making deals so good, they're breaking down the doors. Lease a new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee for $333 per month. Yes, a new Jeep Grand Cherokee for $333 per month. Lease a new Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, or Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid and get $10,000 off. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition at Galliana Chrysler Jeep. All trade-ins are welcome. Don't miss these doorbuster deals. Lease a new Jeep Grand Cherokee for just $333 per month. The sooner you come in, the more you save during the Jeep Celebration event at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Zoo exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Stock number 37048. 24-month lease, $39.99 down plus tax and tag to it sign. Includes $225 closing fee, no security deposit. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month that.
Breathe easier with Zerorez Air Duct Cleaning. For this month only, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get $30 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR30 when scheduling online at ZeroSColumbia.com.
Join the McDaniels Automotive Group and the Lexington Medical Center Foundation on Saturday, April 22nd at the Pastides Alumni Center for the McDaniels Golf Classic Gala, featuring live and silent auctions, Southern Way catering, and live music by the Crystal Clear Band. Proceeds support programs and services at Lexington Medical Cancer Center, from diagnosis to survivorship. Purchase your tickets today at McDanielsGolfClassic.com.
Get the right care at the right place. Visit Lexington Medical Center's convenient urgent care centers for minor illnesses and injuries, and use our emergency room for emergencies. Go to lexmed.com/care now to know where to go for the care you need now.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Hey everyone, good morning to you. This is a First Alert traffic update. As we see live around the region, there has not been anything with confirmed collisions or major slowdowns early that, of course, will be causing problems to go about your travels for the day at a normal pace. If that changes, of course, we see anything live popping up on the map, we'll make sure to let you know as the morning continues on. This has been a First Alert traffic update. I'm WIS meteorologist Tony Shurburtt.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
1075 The Game.
Just let it be. I'm alright. Don't nobody worry about me.
I know this one, or I don't know if it's associated with multiple. Caddyshack.
At least you got one right.
I love Caddyshack. There's your difference in 80s movies. You've got, I think, the teen. Do we want to call them rom-coms?
Just kind of Brat Pack
Not
movie.
rom-com.
The Brat Pack movies, yeah. It's only, and then you've got, like, again, what I would almost say is the Saturday Night Live cast who broke out. You got Eddie Murphy's movies, Coming to America. I don't know if anybody said Coming to America this morning.
Oh, yeah. That's more 90, isn't it?
Is Coming to America 90s?
Question.
JC, Coming to America, 80s or 90s?
On the cusp.
Oh, in the early 90s.
Cusp, probably 89, 90.
88.
Really good. Yeah, so late 80s. Yeah, so like there's a lot of good movies that came out in the 1980s. And look, some of them have made their way back, like Coming to America and Top Gun. So as crappy as Hollywood is these days, God, it's either an art film or a Marvel film, right? And most of your good stuff's on streaming. So maybe that's a niche. You can revive the 80s like they revive everything else. Now, one thing I did disagree with, never remake Point Break, never remake Red Dawn. And they did both of them. So that's a no-no. But everything else is probably fair game.
I don't know. Roadhouse, which is due out sometime this year. I don't
Oh
think,
my God, yeah, don't talk yet.
and we don't need Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Leave that. Throw that in the garbage. That's a bag of fries from McDonald's that sat in the back seat because the kid dropped it for like a week in the summer in South Carolina.
And I'm assuming Conor McGregor, who is also in that movie, is going to be the bad guy in there. That's going to be my assumption.
And I like Conor McGregor just fine, but I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, we're all in that. Preston, you got a movie that can never be remade.
Ooh, not off the top of my head, but they did do Coming to America too, and that was very bad.
Very bad.
Yeah, it was very
bad, terrible.
It was bad. I thought it was bad until the end, and then I forgot about Sexual Chocolate. And so I'm sitting there with my fiance watching. I'm like, well, I wonder who they got to sing at the end, because sometimes they get these stars in, and then I heard Randy Watson, and then I was like, oh my God, so I got a T-shirt that says "Sexual Chocolate World Tour 1988" on it. I just love that part so much. But that was the best part of that whole movie. You had to wait 2 hours to see it, right?
A couple people weighing in. Anonymous texter going with has a dancing gopher that plays the Caddyshack song. Can't go wrong there. Mike weighing in this morning on something I'll tell him about our signal later. We'll get that updated. And Joey from Sumter, The Breakfast Club should never be remade. So yes, breakfast. Right. But again, I've never seen that, so I'm not exactly sure what we're not remaking there. But I would assume
you couldn't remake it. Well, I don't think so.
And David weighs in, they should never have remade The Karate Kid. Is that a remakeable movie?
See, they with The Karate Kid, the one with Jaden Smith was obviously not very good, but it was interesting because it was for a whole new generation. But when they came back with the Cobra Kai series, I think a lot of people really got into that. So they did something. They were 50% on that one. So
it's been an interesting conversation. JC, gear up the next few weeks. They may be a little bit more 80s movie, music, pop culture centric as we move away. We move away from spring football and into the summertime and get ready for SEC Media Day. But between now and then, gear yourself up. We'll need some good pop culture references between now and then.
Absolutely, guys. Well, I enjoyed it today, and you guys have a great one.
Look forward to
seeing
Appreciate
you.
Take care. JC Shurburtt from thebigspur.com. Next week, big event with the Carolina Rise. We'll tell you more about that as the week rolls on. Also tell you more about our craft beer passport coming up in hour number 3. You need to go and purchase one of those. I'll tell you where when we come back. It's the early game, 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's $7,500 sign-on bonuses, increased pay, and great employee benefits available. Start your new year off with a new career. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
If you have IRS tax problems, it can seem like a vicious cycle that never ends, year after year. Just getting the mail can be stressful and overwhelming. Don't let it ruin your life. There is a solution. Since 2008, the attorneys at Ecton Law Firm have devoted their practice to the resolution of tax problems for individuals and businesses across the Carolinas. We have the knowledge and experience and are dedicated to the success of each client. We are local attorneys with local solutions. At the free initial consultation, we'll listen to your concerns, your goals, and explain the systematic process we use in solving your tax problem. From that initial meeting, you'll see there is a solution. We're dedicated to improving your life by solving your tax problems. If we sound like someone you want to work with, take that first step. Give us a call at 803-771-9800 or go to ectonlawfirm.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way.
Larry Lightner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing.
and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Liner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by the Power of Love Chevrolet, celebrating the Chevy Silverado for the first time in history, the #1 selling retail full-size pickup in America. Come by and feel the power of love. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game.
Yeah, I thought I might get a rose for picking Kyle Busch to win NASCAR and picking a winner correctly. And
Jen Jensen.
Now, keep in mind, Preston, if when we pick a winner, he won't recommend that we get a rose. So just so you know that. This is all about him.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Bill is all about Bill.
Yep.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
guys get fired up. The 80s movie. I think Preston and I, what we're going to do next week, NFL draft. NFL draft. I think each day we're gonna come up with a new topic. What is your number one pick?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna have a draft of several, maybe potentially mundane topics.
Yeah.
Or potentially explosive topics.
Yeah.
We'll see. But you will be forced to be on the clock and draft something.
So here's what I'm going to. Brian Glenn also weighs in, and Brian Glenn will
shout out to the guy.
We will be, or the halftime show will be live at the Village Idiot on tomorrow. Tomorrow they'll be out there, Whaley Street in Columbia. It's our craft beer passport. You can actually go to 1075thegame.com and click on Sweet Deals for more information. It's our craft beer passport. 38 craft beers for just $99. It's a $285 value passport here that we're selling for just $99. 19 locations, 2 craft beers at each location. And Jay and Terry will be out at the Whaley Street Village Idiot tomorrow in Columbia promoting the craft beer passport. So you can go by and get some great pizza, hang out with Brian, hang out with all the great people at the Village Idiot down on Whaley Street over there. But that's our craft beer passport. Again, 38 craft beers for $99, $285 value for $99. Go to 1075thegame.com, click on Sweet Deals for more information. So Brian Glenn weighs in and says, Tommy Boy. You can't remake Tommy Boy, which I kind of agree with him. But, at some point, somebody's going to try and remake Tommy Boy. Yeah. So I'm asking you, for some of these movies, send me your 2 actors, 3 actors that if you have to remake it, who are you going with? So in Tommy Boy, who would you go with today to remake? Like I'm just throwing it out. Don't yell at me just yet. Like Tommy Boy, would you go with Zach Galifianakis? I think that's how you say his last name. Mm-hmm. And you need a more straight-laced kind of uptight character. Who would you go with there? Who is the straight-laced uptight character these days?
This is a really tough proposition, man, because Chris Farley is a force of nature, and I don't know if there's anybody that can pull. Maybe the straight man. I don't know how we're gonna pull that one off, Bill.
We got to think here real quick. Who, like Tommy Boys? This is a good example. Like who would you've got? And maybe there's another actor out there that I'm just off the top of my head going kind of with the goofy. There's never going to be another a Chris Farley. That's not out there. So who? But you got to come up with somebody that we're having to, because like we just said, Roadhouse. Like we're going with Jake Gyllenhaal to read. Like there's not another Patrick Swayze. There's not another Sam Elliott that can really. Those roles are ingrained. Like they were perfect for those. Like Jake Gyllenhaal is not going. This is not going to work with him.
No, it's not. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But I think what we have to think about is this is for a new generation. The problem is the new generation doesn't want to see it because they're probably not interested in the story. And then the old generation doesn't want to see it because they remember the old movie. So I'm not exactly sure how these things actually work out.
Okay, so Albert, again, right now we're going off of Tommy Boy. Albert goes Jonah Hill and Michael Cera, already in Superbad together.
Man, you know what? That's a very solid pick. Jonah seems to be more in his artiste phase of his career now, so he's not doing as much silly things. And Michael Cera sort of disappeared, but that's a good pick.
Who is it? Let me see. John weighs in. He goes for David Spade's role in Tommy Boy. He goes with Jason Bateman, Ozark, and several others.
Mm-hmm.
It is Jason Bateman, right? I am saying that right. Yeah, a couple of people weighing up. That's what you got to think. The movies that can't be remade, you know it's going to happen. Who are we playing? Who are you getting to play those particular roles? Because that's where we're at these days. Okay. And here's the other question: where does now just as I went to say it, I just blanked on his name. Ted Lasso. 803-404-6100. I can't believe this is live radio. It's absolute finest when you completely blank on a name. If I just keep snapping with my left hand, it'll come to me. But yeah, 803-404-6100. Ooh, Craig's got a good one for time. Bert Kreischer.
Okay, all right.
Bert Kreischer.
You're warming up.
Yep.
Another singular talent. I mean, they already sort of have that with with Bert and Tom. I mean, Tom's not quite David Spade, but there's an
Tom
interesting
Segura.
Yeah, Tom Segura. There's an interesting sort of straight man, wild man dynamic.
We're going back next week. We will have more of our draft, and maybe we'll get into this. Maybe we'll throw in some actors. Thank you, Craig. Jason Sudeikis was the name I was looking for.
There we go.
I can get rid of this headache now that was driving me a little crazy. Thank you, Jason Sudeikis was the answer we're looking for. But yeah, next week we'll get into the draft as we kind of count down. Looks like Darius Rush is going to be the first Gamecock taken in the upcoming NFL draft,
which is a fascinating story. I mean, I really would like to see how that projects because it goes against all of the recruiting. It goes against all of the measurables, all of these things the tropes that we sort of lay out. And it just is a testament to obviously Darius, but also the concept of development and that people can and do develop over time and that players oftentimes play themselves into positions.
I've told the story of Darius Rush multiple times on this thing, and Darius Rush, who probably doesn't remember me or anything, doesn't realize what he did this particular day. But I believe it was his first spring game, and if you remember Darius Rush, he was brought to South Carolina by the Will Muschamp staff as a wide receiver, and
let me stop to interrupt you, but sort of an afterthought of the class. He was in the class, but sort of a filler guy for the class. Nobody was super excited about Darius.
He was an athlete. And this is, look, I totally understand some of the anger toward Will Muschamp and some of the overall feelings. I totally get it. But one thing I still think Will Muschamp could do was identify talent. I think Will Muschamp was very good at being able to identify players, you go back through his time, some guys that stood out that played above their ranking. And Darius Rush is going to be another guy. I mean, DJ Wanham was a guy, again, that South Carolina flipped from Indiana very, very late in that process and ended up, obviously, has gone on to a very nice NFL career. Darius Rush came in, was brought in as a receiver, but also was known as an athlete in, I believe, the 2018 class. And his first spring game, he played wide receiver, and it went poorly, to say the least. Went very, very poorly. He dropped, 12 or 14 balls, just had a bad day. And as we were leaving the facility, and you're right, he was not even on the national scale. He was a low 3-star out of C.E. Murray High School in Greeleyville, South Carolina, 6'2", 170-pound kid. Again, in that class, just for the record, he was the second, the second lowest rated recruit, if that makes sense. Only R.J. Roderick was actually below him. And Roderick at times was a really good player. But Darius Rush, the day of that spring game was pitiful. Literally thought they might tell him to transfer. Probably thought he was going to be told to transfer in his meeting afterwards. Austin, my son, and I were walking out. We're kind of walking out of the stadium. There he is, and you could just tell Darius had a bad day. And the last thing he wanted to do, and Preston, you've been there, last thing he wanted to do was stop and talk to a 7-year-old or whatever Austin's age was, 6 or 7, and spend time with a fan. But he took his gloves out of his bag. He gave them to Austin. He took pictures with him, spent time with him. I get it. People say, Preston, you've been an athlete in that position. People say, oh, you don't have to, you have to do that. You have to spend it. You've had a bad day. And that's what it was for Darius. And he took time out to spend with my son. It always meant something to me. It meant something. Matter of fact, I don't know what it meant because I explained to Austin that Darius Rush was about to be drafted as the highest game. He goes, isn't that the guy who gave me the gloves that day? Like, he barely remembers it, but it meant something. And from that day on, I have been the biggest proponent of Darius Rush, the human being, and what he will be. And I think he's going to be a great representative. And it's, like you said, it's an awesome story to see as a kid who came to South Carolina. Again, I'm looking at 24/7 Sports, had a .85 rating. That was the second lowest in that recruiting class, and is likely going to end up being the top pick, the top South Carolina player taken off the board next weekend.
Yeah, this is why recruiting is such a crapshoot. Yes, we know that you would rather have the blue chip ratio. You would rather have more guys who are 5 and 4 stars. Yes, that's what you would prefer to have, no doubt. But there are intangibles that certain guys have that you can't necessarily measure. There's development that takes place over time. People grow into their bodies. There's all these factors that come into play. And as you said, some coaches are able to identify maybe untapped talents early. And then credit to Darius for working himself through a position change, through a coaching staff change, through all of these different ideas to put himself in a position to go ahead and be taken towards the NFL. And this is the type of player that, based on what I know, and I don't know Darius personally, but basically from what I've heard and I've talked to folks, he's a guy that's going to get into the NFL, and barring injury, he'll probably end up having a very long career because he's that type of person.
Yeah, hopefully so. And we'll get more into draft stuff next week, and then we'll cut up a lot here on the show as we, again, transition away from spring ball. I mean, if you want, we're more than happy to spend 3 hours just nothing but NBA and NHL talk. Just inundate you with playoff talk from the NBA and NHL. Just 3 strong hours about Draymond Green stomping on somebody last night.
Oh, boy.
We'll cover it. Like,
I will say this. I think Draymond may have met his nemesis as far as folks who can annoy people the most. And
it's a bonus.
Yes. This is a matchup of who is more annoying.
Who's more annoying?
Mm-hmm.
That may be a draft next week as well. The number 1 most annoying athlete out there.
Oh, yes.
Favorite text so far of the morning. First time texter. Welcome in. Anonymous texter.
Appreciate you.
Will Muschamp for David Spade. In Tommy Boy, we want Will Muschamp. That just me would be annoyed the entire time. The whole movie be sweaty. Just big, sweaty, angry guy. That's what you got. 803-404.
I mean, Ed Orgeron would have to be Chris Farley, right?
That you want to? There's your buddy cop movie.
Is that what we doing?
Will Muschamp and Ed Orgeron. 803-404-6100. Give me the 2 coaches out there. That's our ace of spades. Your buddy cop movie. Will Muschamp and Ed Orgeron beat our ace of spades. Ed Orgeron and Will Muschamp in the buddy cop movie.
Oh, Ed would get on Will's.
Angry in an accent would be like something. We'll come up with more. We'll cut up this morning here, 8:14 on a Tuesday morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Keeping a nice, clean home, especially in the month of April, it can be difficult. You've had rain, you got mud, you got pollen, you got leaves. I mean, just there's so many things going on that can be tracked into your house. But with zero res carpet and air duct cleaning, it can stay beautiful. And so you just need to line up that appointment. Take advantage of the spring sale going on right now. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for just $129 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Again, it is the fresh springtime offer right now. 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. I only trust the pros at Zero-Res to help me maintain a clean and sanitized house. That's right. With Austin constantly tracking in grass and dirt from soccer practice, I need somebody besides me to make those carpets, the rugs, the tile, the upholstery, all stay insanely clean. And Zero-Res with their patented ZR water technology that leaves behind no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals. They make the Gunner household look absolutely fantastic. So give them a phone call today and line up that spring cleaning sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129. All you need to do is mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Zero-Res. Spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Fighting rain and headwinds, Evan Shurburtt won his 2nd straight Boston Marathon. Helen Obiri completed the Kenyan sweep. Elsewhere, former Bruins captain Zdeno Chara finished in 3 hours, 38 minutes, and 23 seconds, while former quarterback Doug Flutie needed just under 5.5 hours. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Purchase new wiper blades from O'Reilly Auto Parts today and we'll install them for free. See better and drive safer with O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills. Online at CordellCordell.com. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB, 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples is celebrating Earth Day. On April 23rd and 24th, save 15% on your purchase of $30 when you recycle tech at Staples. Offer valid 4/22 and 4/23 only. Limit 1 reward per month. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/recycling for details. Cut the cord with your old tech and recycle it at Staples.
Spectrum Business is the no-nonsense way for small businesses to stay connected with fast, reliable internet service and Spectrum Business Connect, the all-in-one app to make calls, host video conferences, and send texts. Connect to customers from any device, anywhere. Get both and get 1 mobile line free for 1 year. No contracts, no hidden fees, no nonsense. Just business. Visit spectrum.com/business today. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boosts. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost. Online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
There's no better place to catch a game on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Visit thegamecockclub.com today to secure your tickets. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Hey everyone, good morning to you. This is a First Alert traffic update. As we see live around the region, there has not been anything with confirmed collisions or major slowdowns early that, of course, will be causing problems to go about your travels for the day at a normal pace. If that changes, of course, we see anything live popping up on the map, we'll make sure to let you know as the morning continues on. This has been a First Alert traffic update. I'm WIS meteorologist Tony Chiavaroli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Herndon certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Give me your coaches. Casey and Gilbert got the assignment beautifully, Preston. This is beautiful. This is where we're going with this. Last 35 minutes of the program. And we'll talk. We're going to talk Jalen Hurts too in a minute here for those of you who need sports. Casey and Gilbert got the assignment beautifully. Buddy cop movie, all right?
All right.
The Lane Train. Lane Kiffin is the rookie.
Okay.
Mark Stoops is the old vet, showing him the ropes, but has a couple screws missing. The antagonist trying to take him down is Ed Orgeron.
I like you even brought a villain in there.
Casey and Gilbert, if we had a T-shirt to send out to you for you get the show,
A+,
we would be sending you because that's what we're looking for here. So we need the buddy cop movie and who is the antagonist that they're trying to take down or that's trying to take over the world.
Stoops is trying to solve crimes the old school way, and Lane's like, "Come on, man, we can just do it this way." Don't you know Stoops has a map and he pulls out a big map and he's trying to find his way around town. And Lane's like, "Come on, man, just type it into GPS.
Just type it into the phone.
Yeah,
you
just
got it
type
right
it
here."
in. He's like, "Come on, no."
And Ed Orgeron's just in a hot tub somewhere, just cackling, just having a good time. Yeah. Yeah. Sending off his henchmen to do away with. Yeah, there you go. There's your. All right, top that one.
That's a good way to set the bar, sir. Appreciate you.
803-404-6100. Who is your coaches? Your coaches. You can cross. We can have Jim Boeheim can be the salty antagonist, like just not ready to give up control of the city.
Jim, that's exactly who he is. Jim Boeheim's the guy, the alderman in the city who's advocating for something that nobody else wants in the city. And they're like, yeah, that's
we're kind of branching this out because if you want to throw in the police chief, there's always the loud police chief banging on the desk like, stop blowing up blocks, stop blowing up the city.
Either that or he's just a dingbat. It's one of those two. Either
Very
the police
true.
chief is very much clueless, i.e. police academy, or you have the one who he can't wrap his mind around the lack of control, the chaos.
Where does John Harbaugh fit into this? Is he the antagonist, or is he the grizzly do it my way cop having to partner with the young up and comer?
Very well could be. But every time John Harbaugh enters the scene, you see him pressing his khakis, very much pressing his uniform, getting his uniform correct. He's drinking milk, and everybody's like, "What is going on with this guy?"
It's just like something gets a hold of him and rips off a pair of khakis, and that's how, or rips off a small piece of the khaki, and you're like, oh, now we've narrowed it down. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. I mentioned Jalen Hurts agreeing to a 5-year, $255 million extension, $179.3 million guaranteed. Now, excuse me. Thank you, Craig. It's Jim Harbaugh, not John Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh. I was reading NFL Talk and thinking of the Ravens. Jim Harbaugh. But let's go back to the Jalen Hurts thing. I'm fascinated by this contract because I'm not in on Jalen Hurts yet.
Okay.
I'm not. Maybe it's Carson Wentz syndrome that Wentz got him there, and we haven't heard from Wentz since. He's bounced around. I don't even know where he's at now. He's gone from the Colts to the Commanders to who knows, and for all I know, we're going to see him show up in the XFL next year. I'm not buying in, and that's a lot of money. And I don't know, here's the other part of this, what this does for Lamar Jackson.
That's probably the biggest part of this conversation. So it's been reported in quotation marks that this is a very similar offer to what Baltimore offered Lamar. Very similar in numbers, very similar in years, very similar in terms. And Lamar and his team declined that. So now we're starting to get into, all right, well, what do you actually want? What does Lamar actually want? But to go back to the first part about Jalen, you're justified in saying, this is a very large investment. I think what you're paying for with Jalen is he's leader guy. He's going to be the team that rallies. He's going to be rally your team. You're paying for all of these intangible guys. He can run the offense. He proved last year that he can make some throws when it is time to make a big-time throw. Do I think he is an elite quarterback? I personally do not. But the quarterback market is so fickle and so thin that if you have somebody that you know can do enough stuff on the field, and then on top of that, he's the leader of the clubhouse, I think you have to try and figure out a way to sign him.
Hurts deal is the biggest contract in terms of average annual value in NFL history. Average value. Again, Deshaun Watson's $230 million contract is the biggest in terms of guaranteed money, $230 guaranteed. I think we've agreed that when it comes to Lamar Jackson, you throw out the Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson cannot use that as I need to top that guy.
And I feel like that's what they're doing, and that is totally an outlier that nobody else is going to do that.
But if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm better than that guy, right? Like I would ask you right now, if you had to choose Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson to build your franchise, here's your draft pick. This is our first segment of where would you go? Who are you taking in this situation?
I think Lamar Jackson is more talented. I think he's more explosive. I think he's actually a better skilled quarterback. But Jalen Hurts has an it factor in the locker room. And this is not to say that Lamar is a bad guy. He's not a cancer. He's not anything wrong with him. But I think what Jalen Hurts adds to the locker room, if the question is if I'm starting a franchise around this guy, I might go with Jalen based on those intangibles.
Just for the record, Lamar just turned 26 back in January. Jalen Hurts will be 25 in August. There's not like you look at two young quarterbacks in this league, and certainly we can debate later on about how good Jalen Hurts is. Certainly the Eagles think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I also, by the way, like how the Eagles have structured this contract because as I've gotten older, I've realized what the Patriots have done over the last 20 years, the dynasty. I think those days in professional sports because of contracts and everything are over. I don't know anybody I'm interested to see if the Chiefs can maintain what they're doing because I feel like it's more now of what the Rams did 2 years ago where they pushed all their chips in. All right, we're going all in. Bring everybody we can in. Get everybody in here and let's win a Super Bowl because the Eagles here have backloaded this contract to really only have a $6.5 million cap hit this coming year, 13.56 next year, and 21.77 in 2025. They're basically moving that money to say, all right, we don't have enough. We will have cap space to put people around you. And then in 2026, it's 31.77 to where, all right, we see a 3-year window here to put people around you to go win a Super Bowl. And then by year 4, if we haven't done it, we'll pay you a lot of money and maybe we'll let you go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And everybody understands that going in. They have entered this contract basically saying we have a 3-year window where we can go back to the Super Bowl. Hopefully we don't have to run up against Mahomes and crew again. But for the next 3 years, we're going to attempt to put as much firepower around you and win these games. But when that salary cap gets to that point where it's $30 million, where there's a percentage number where it's taking up too much percentage, it just doesn't work. So in that 4th year, hopefully we'll be doing the show by then, but I'll put it down as I told you so. They'll probably end up either moving on or cutting him at that point just because that's just not the way winning structures are created in the NFL. Winning teams are created.
I'm a little intrigued by this. Evans and Billy both weigh in and say they would rather attend. Now, Billy puts a caveat. He says in the Eagles system, but both go Jalen Hurts over Lamar Jackson.
I think there's an argument for that, and that's a great caveat in the Eagles system run by what they're doing now. I'm not sure if you get a bet because I was looking at that. I was looking at a graphic that was playing up here on ESPN, and they had the salaries combined. They had Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson were the top 3 average salaries. And as I looked at those 3 dudes, the only person I actually want in my locker room is Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers because he's a clown. Russell Wilson is a clown for another. He doesn't get along with his teammates. He's been known to be divisive in the locker room because he's Mr. Perfecto and nobody actually likes him. So I was looking at those dudes. Jalen Hurts is the only guy that I would say can galvanize a locker room. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a quality leader. Russell Wilson tries to be too much of a leader that nobody actually follows him. Jalen Hurts is the only guy. So I think those two are perfectly correct in that.
803-404-6100. Andy Reid, the wily, likable cop. Mike Tomlin, the veteran detective, just upset every day. Bill Belichick is the chief. It's from Elwood. Let me go to the other one here that I liked. Where did the other one go? Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Anonymous texter. Bill Self, Kansas coach.
Oh.
The mayor who appears to be squeaky clean on the surface, but is pulling strings for the evil villain behind the scenes.
Very good.
I like where we're going with this. I now wish we would just stay an extra hour just to give us your head coaches and their roles. I like the buddy cop and who is the villain.
Very specific genre here.
I like that. But if you've got a role for a coach, Bill Self, the mayor who appears to be squeaky clean on the surface, but is pulling strings for the villain behind the scenes, very, very good there. I like this. Dan says, he says Dion and Belichick as the cops, Bobby Knight as the villain. Throwing chairs.
There you go. He's not shooting a gun, nothing with bullets. He's just throwing chairs.
Just throwing chairs off of city buildings, just taking out unsuspecting referees that have wronged him in a game before. 803-404-6100. We roll along. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 1075 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Going out, purchasing a brand new vehicle can be a fantastic experience if you go to the right dealership. And at Love Chevrolet, they understand that. They've been in business for over 60 years, treating people correctly. And you know what? They've done it again. That's right. Love Chevrolet is honored to be the latest recipient of Chevrolet's highest honor, the annual Mark of Excellence Award, given for scoring highest in sales, service, and customer experience. That's why I keep telling you every day that Love Chevrolet, who's been in business for over 60 years, does it the right way, making sure you, the customer, is put first, whether it's the $1,000 low price guarantee, guaranteeing that you can go shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they'll top it or write you a check for $1,000. Whether it is the incredible selection of vehicles, 14 acres to choose from, including the incredible next Silverado, maybe the next Tahoe, Colorado, Trailblazer, or Suburban you're looking to purchase, or whether you just need great customer service, somebody knowledgeable, friendly, ready to help you with this big, important purchase in your life, Love Chevrolet has got it taken care of. And again, that is why they have once again won the annual Mark of Excellence Award given to the great Chevrolet dealerships across the country. Love Chevrolet with another award to brag about. Go visit them. I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
Yes, we're stranded off the Main Street exit northbound. How fast can you be here?
I just want to check under the hood while we wait.
Hold on just a sec. Honey, it's dark out. I don't think it's a good idea to get out.
I'm sure it'll take them a while.
They're here?
Wow.
We're not that fast, but we're pretty close. When you're in a pickle because you drive a lemon, call Schroeder's Towing. Don't be left on the side of the road distressed. That's Schroeder's Towing with over 1,200 Google reviews. Call now at 772-7930.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
One search engine is used by 9 out of 10 consumers. Hint, the name begins with a G. And there are hundreds of things that go into being ranked highly by that engine. Your website, your business profile, even your social accounts. A couple of slip-ups and you find yourself on page 7. But at Cumulus Boost, we have the experts and resources to fix what's wrong and boost your findability so you can rank higher than your competition. Get started today at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS boost.com.
The demand for your used car is at an all-time high, and it's never been worth more. Herndon Chevrolet needs your trade. We'll buy your car, even if you don't buy ours. And to prove it, we're willing to beat any written offer by $500. That's right, we'll beat any written offer by $500. Visit Herndon Chevrolet today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
703-630-5929 for more details.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español.
Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Join the McDaniels Automotive Group and the Lexington Medical Center Foundation on Saturday, April 22nd at the Pastides Alumni Center for the McDaniels Golf Classic Gala, featuring live and silent auctions, Southern Way catering, and live music by the Crystal Clear Band. Proceeds support programs and services at Lexington Medical Cancer Center, from diagnosis to survivorship. Purchase your tickets today at McDanielsGolfClassic.com.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Tuesday to you. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. As we've seen around the region, there has not been much going on with confirmed collisions this morning. A couple minor accidents, but nothing that has caused problems, major slowdowns, or lane closures. That, of course, goes along with something we see around Columbia every day, your typical morning traffic that is still on the up and up, getting further into the middle of this week. Either way, just make it a good day with your travels. Keep it safe out there. Enjoy the sunshine. This has been a First Alert traffic update. I'm WIS meteorologist Tony Schiavaroli.
Well, we do have a couple other accidents, though, we need to let you know about. Highway 378 at I-26. Also, I-26 eastbound at Harbison Boulevard. I-20 westbound at Wilson Boulevard, a tie-up there. I-20 westbound before Alpine Road. Clemson Road at I-20, we have a report of a tie-up in downtown Columbia. Assembly Street, just south of Calhoun Street. One other coming in Lake Carolina Boulevard near Hardscrabble Road. So do be careful out there this morning.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Reminder, go to 1075thegame.com. Click on these sweet deals. For more information, you can check out our craft beer passport. 38 craft beers for $99, a $285 value for just $99. Again, go to 1075thegame.com. Click on sweet deals for more information. The halftime show will be out and about all week long, kind of helping promote the craft beer passport. They'll be at Village Idiot on Wednesday on Whaley Street down in Columbia. So you can go down and check them out there. Thursday, the halftime show will be at the Old Mill Brew Pub. That'll be out in my neck of the woods, out in Lexington. Again, you can go by and see Jay and Terry and hang out with them a little bit. Check out this great craft beer passport. 38 craft beers for $99, a $285 value for just $99. Go to 1075thegame.com, click on Sweet Deals for more information. Keep sending them in. I like these. I don't know if Garrett got it. This doesn't sound like a movie I'm ready to watch. Belichick and Saban as the cops. Rex Ryan as the villain. I feel like Belichick and Saban are, like that's a lot of gruff in one movie.
That's gonna be a long, slow slog of a movie.
Although you do wonder, like, just two angry. What was the grumpy old men?
There we go.
I feel like that's what you're getting there. The two guys just analytically breaking down how they're supposed to solve the crime in the car for an hour. That's what it is. Just a one camera movie there where you've just got
just a one shot, just talking this whole time. It's like, oh no, it's an art film. You don't understand it. It's really deep. You don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's that's let's see here. This comes at Casey. Casey just having too much of a good time this morning. So
Casey, you're the MVP right now.
Dan Mullen is the I'm never wrong mayor who gets deals done the Derby way. Kirby Smart is the captain, always yelling about how no one thought he had what it took to be captain. Ron Rivera as the hero cop that actually got his fame from his partner he lost in a drug bust gone bad. Shane Beamer is the young whippersnappers. The bad guy is going to have to stay at Ortron. All I can see is him with a gold chain, a cigar, and laughing like the perfect villain.
I love the Ron Rivera touch because he's the absolutely good cop, a great-hearted man who's just in a corrupt system, and he doesn't want to leave the system, but he's a good man. He knows the capabilities of this job, but everybody else is crumbling around him.
It's going to be interesting to see how the good cop handles the new management.
I'm sure he's rejoicing
in Washington.
I'm sure he's very happy.
I don't know, because you look at this ownership group that's coming in, or this guy who's coming in to purchase.
You might be right.
It's the Josh Harris group. They've sent their bid in a little over $6 billion, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Hey, we have $6 billion. Let's go buy the Commanders.
Hey, Dan Snyder, you've been terrible to the organization, to the league, and the people of your city. Here's $6 billion to leave.
Yeah, I mean, that's just insane to me. The deal has not been signed yet. There is another person, a Canadian billionaire. I'm not going to try and say Steve Antopoulos, who has also submitted an offer. I will say for this, the Harris Group has actually done some really good things. They are a part of a group that owns the Philadelphia 76ers, the New Jersey Devils. He's helped turn them around. It might actually be good for the Commanders, but one of the articles I saw yesterday stated if he does come into play, Ron Rivera probably will be seeking new employment. They will bring in their own guy.
That's fair.
Basketball discussion real quick. South Carolina yesterday picking up another commitment in the transfer portal. Lamont Paris picking up Miles Stute, a 6'7", 215-pound wing player, could be a stretch four. Transfers in from Vanderbilt, where he averaged right around 8 points a game, is considered more of a three-point shooter. I would say you're comparing him to kind of they're slightly different positions, but he hopefully replaces the three-point shooting of Chico Carter Jr. and then maybe offers you a little bit more of a defensive and a rebounding presence.
I asked you about this off air. We kind of was like, oh, okay, we'll wait and see. Still haven't picked up on an actual recruiting philosophy or a transfer portal philosophy from Coach Paris and crew. So I would like to see what role this sort of fills and maybe where this is actually going. Because if you don't know these people, you need to, if we're recruiting skill sets, then I would like to know that. Or if we're recruiting best available, I would like to get a little more insight into what the actual strategy is.
Yeah, this isn't a knock on Coach Paris. I think what I'm going to be fascinated, this is hard. We saw this with Frank Martin, where you have a lot of attrition, you have a significant roster turnover, and it was hard for Frank Martin to get these guys to gel early in the season. People say, well, there was, get upset about some of the life lessons he would try to teach where he'd bench guys, and you'd have the early season losses to a Stetson or a Boston or, a beating at the hands of Wofford. Obviously, Stony Brook comes to mind. That's going to be what I'm intrigued to see next year, because they struggled earlier in the year. They got absolutely waxed by George Washington. They got blown out by Colorado State, by Davidson, by Furman. How does Lamont Paris's team perform early in the season when you're trying to get these guys to gel? Look, the schedule lightened up significantly late in February and down the stretch when you played 3 of the 4 teams that finished, or you were the 4th that finished at the bottom of the conference in Mississippi, LSU, and Georgia to go along with South Carolina. But how do you get these players to gel? And as you said, find the roles. I feel like Talon Cooper fits the point guard role. Michi Johnson fits the 2-guard role. Ibram Dribia comes back from the Achilles injury. Does he fit the small forward role or another guard type role? How does Miles Stute fit on this team? To me, it's a lot. Josh Gray, a year development. It's hard for me to come on here and say, this is a great pickup.
Yeah, I don't think that would be fair to say. We don't know. I've made this analogy before, and I'll make it again in case anybody hasn't heard it. Is Coach Paris and crew, are they going grocery shopping with a list of what they actually want in the grocery store, or are they just going to the store and picking up stuff, and then you look back later, you don't know what's actually in your cart? And here's the thing. We don't know because we're not privy to those conversations. I would assume that they have specific skill sets that they're trying to get, but we're not sure of that.
Yeah, Stephen Clark, again, how will he fit in? Not a shooter, but this latest transfer is considered a better shooter. We'll see kind of how it all plays out. Jen, I got one for you here. Heath and Tommy as the cops, Dawn as the commissioner, Gamecock Larry as the villain.
And you said Heath and Tommy as the cops?
Heath and Tommy as the cops. There would be a lot of paperwork with Tommy.
Wow. There a lot of paperwork.
Like
there will be no digital clues whatsoever.
I don't think I've ever seen
no digital.
There you'd have Heath with his iPad or kind of his computer kind of little that he carries around, and then you'd have Tommy just carrying stacks of. Tommy would be the one. We got to get back to the office to fill out all the reports.
Right.
All the reports.
He'll have the little red wagon of all the paper, behind him the whole time.
And Gamecock Larry just motoring through town on his scooter. Just
on patrol.
Okay.
On patrol.
Well, no, Gamecock Larry's the villain.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. He is the villain. Okay.
He's the villain.
Well, yeah, so he's getting away on his scooter.
Gamecock Larry has infiltrated the breakfast scene in the city. Every restaurant is now serving liver pudding and grits.
Yeah,
and it's just
taking over the town.
Too far.
He is just a villain in that way. What's kind of like in Roadhouse where they control the restaurants. You serve liver pudding and grits, or else something happens to your restaurant. There you go. 803-404-6100. Chris, I'll try and get to your point here on the basketball transfers, and we'll try and wrap up the program with a few more buddy cop movies and what football coaches or who should play them. 803-404-6100 is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Preston here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshields, no problem. They'll come to you and they give you a free quote for any job. So if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. You hear me say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. The Mega Millions jackpot for Tuesday is $20 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See SCEducationLottery.com for jackpot odds and a store near you.
That's the sound of the Doorbuster pricing event going on now at Galliana Kia on Greystone. Galliana Kia on Greystone is making deals so good, they're breaking down the doors. 2023 Kia Forte LXS, lease for just $199 per month. 2023 Kia Sorento LX, lease for just $299 per month. Upgrade to a new Kia today. We'll get you out of your current loan or lease, even if you're over mileage, have months left, or still owe thousands. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. If you got a job and you make at least $2,000 per month, our lenders can get you approved. Don't miss these doorbuster deals. New Kias for $199 per month.
Gotta go.
The sooner you come, the more you save at Galliana Kia on Greystone. I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or KiaColumbia.com. Sorrento stock number K3699. Forte stock number 3K1548. 24-month leases, 10,000 miles per year. $39.99 due at signing plus tax tag includes $225 closing fee. No security deposit. Negative trade equity financed in new loan subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to ectonlawfirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me, John Ecton.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
It's time to get a hop on your spring cleaning checklist with the help of Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online at zerustcolumbia.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
And we do have a few tie-ups out there this morning to take a look at. Assembly Street south of Calhoun Street. Also, I-20 westbound before Alpine Road, the right lane is currently blocked. Lake Carolina Boulevard near Hardscrabble, a slowdown there. Highway 60 near I-26, an accident as well. A couple others to let you know about. Clemson Road at I-20 and Forest Drive just west of I-77. Forecast looking pretty good for the next few days. 81 for the high today, 87 tomorrow, 88 on Thursday. It is up to 54 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Reminder tonight, South Carolina and Charleston Southern baseball. 6:45 pregame right here on 107.5 The Game. 7 o'clock first pitch. South Carolina will look to get back to the winning side of things after a 2-game losing streak. Vanderbilt being able to take the weekend series there, winning the Saturday and Sunday games 8-5 and 6-4. So South Carolina, I want to make sure I say this out loud, because if I say this out loud, it's actually a very impressive. That is their first 2-game losing streak of the season, Preston. It goes to speak what exactly Mark Kingston has done this year. And look, Vanderbilt, number 4 in the country. It's not like you lost to scrubs. You lost to a team that's also in contention for Omaha and a national championship. But getting back, kind of going into another big series, getting back on the right side of the ledger is a big step tonight, or at least getting that momentum back.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that indicates if you don't lose 2 in a row, then you have a chance to win a whole bunch of games throughout the season. So this seems like it's trending in the right direction.
Speaking of Mark Kingston, Artia on our live stream says, we got to pair Mark Kingston, Shane Beamer. Mark, straight-laced, Shane playing pranks and cracking jokes.
Mark definitely would get on it. He'd be like, come on, Shane, this is time to be serious.
He's the analytical guy. So you'd have those two guys very, very analytical.
I like that.
Is how he would do that. I want to get to this question real quick because I disagree with it a little bit. Chris saying, interesting to hear you guys shading it this way on the hoops transfers. I think the transfers in so far have been very solid. They need productive players, and he is getting those.
I think that is possible. What I'm saying, to be clear, let me clarify that a little bit. I think that's very fine that they could be productive players, but what are we trying to make? What is the thing that we're trying to mold this into? Because you can't just have a bunch of disparate productive things that don't form a cohesive. So do each of these players' skill sets meet? I'm saying, let me be very clear. I'm saying that I don't know. I am assuming that Coach Paris and staff have a plan in place.
I mean, to me, it's coaching because it's hard. I don't think people realize. That's why I actually have always. I know he has not won or has not had the success that maybe people expected at Kentucky, but it is why I kind of appreciate John Calipari the majority of years because of how he almost has to mold a roster each and every year. We saw Frank Martin to an extent have to do that. It comes down to coaching. You bring these kids in. They've got to learn to gel with one another. You're gonna have a new point guard on the floor in Talon Cooper, who I really like. I think that's the best transfer that Lamont has picked up his entire time at South Carolina. I think Cooper is going to be a great pickup. How some of these other guys fit in, kind of like what you said. It's what do you do with the ingredients you've got, and we won't really learn about that until next November. Tomorrow morning, we'll talk with Heath Klein. We'll see about his buddy cop movie where he goes.
Can't wait.
That could be fun.
Y'all have a great day. It's been the early game. 107.5 The Game.
This is Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the game.
All right, everybody. See y'all tomorrow. Good work on that. Good work on all that on the movies. Y'all take care. Have a good day.